In the heart of the Sonoran Desert, an unlikely spectacle unfolds. A cacophony of roaring engines fill the air. A closer look at these mechanical beasts, the stars of the show. Tough to tame, but once mastered, a harmonious convergence of man and machine. Watch and listen as the desert comes alive.
Hey, out, no, out.
It's one of nature's most extraordinary events, Race Day.
And we welcome you live to 20 miles from downtown Phoenix and Phoenix Raceway. It's a mile track, the fourth of the season, 312 miles, 312 laps, and we'll be here to count you down to the start of the race. The weather terrific. Right now, 70s. We could hit 80 today, and that'll make it the warmest race of the season so far. We're just thankful for nice sunny weather here on Fox. And from the mountains to the track to the red carpet, drivers just coming out of the drivers meeting with Kevin Harvick and Clint Bowyer. I'm Chris Myers, and a good crowd. The fans are all here to cheer on their favorite drivers and enjoy
just
the
coming
race
out of drivers meeting
as well. I'm sure a lot of important information there. So let's talk about this race. So you guys here for qualifying, obviously, and practice. And what stood out? What grabbed your attention that you'll lean on most when this race starts today?
Well, we have a new rules package with the short track program and a new diffuser, a new tire, and we saw a lot of teams all over the place. We had a pretty set group of guys that were dominant in the first two races, and we came here with that mindset. That's not the case. Things have changed. We haven't run past 25 laps with this particular package, and to lean into that a little bit further, we've had 7 different winners at this racetrack at the past 7 races. So I think it's up in the air for pretty much anything at this point.
Yeah, new rule package, less grip, right? That's the intention of it. Try to get it back in the driver's hands. But what's it do? It throws these teams for a real chaotic loop. You have the simulation package, everything that they use, the tools they use for the speed, that's out the window. Now we're here at the racetrack, and we're watching this all unfold, and it's right here live for you today.
Yeah, and good luck to Daniel Suarez. All right. Hey, you mastered this place when you were driving, and now as an analyst, how many drivers have come up to you and said, even when it was reconfigured, you still were doing well? They said, hey, what's the most important thing, and what do you tell them?
Well, the most important thing for me when I drove here was how do I get in the corner hard consistently throughout the whole run, and that means the car not sliding the back. And if I can do that, then I can get through the rest of the corner. And then the next objective is how do I make the car turn and grip up off the corner? But that's a long conversation. We got to get into the corner first and be able to hit the brakes and put the car in the right spot.
Well, I tell you what you can't do. Do not beat ourselves, right? This is a racetrack that's a long-run racetrack. We know that. What does that mean? You're probably going to see green flag pit stops. That means do not make a mistake. Don't speed on pit road. We've seen it in the box. We've seen loose lug nuts. Those are the things, the fundamental mistakes that we've seen take some big names out of these races so far this year.
Yeah, Chevy's won the first 3 races, but Toyota on the front row, including Denny Hamlin as the pole sitter. Let's check in with our team of pit reporters. We'll start with Jamie Little. Jamie?
And Eric Jones with a great qualifying effort as well. It could be a good day for you guys. How'd you feel just having that extra practice on Friday? How much did it help?
It was nice, between that and being here for the test that kind of helped determine the package was good for the Family Dollar Toyota. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The long-run speed, we needed a little bit more on Friday, but obviously our short-run speed's been good. So, been nice. We struggled a little bit firing off, in Atlanta and in Vegas. So it was nice to fire off with speed and good handling and just have a baseline to work from. So we'll see how it goes. Hope it's a good day and get some good stage points, run up front, and build from there.
Good to see the 43 up front. Regan.
Jamie Noah Gregson's been fast all season already, qualified 7th today. See that confidence growing in you.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. It's been a lot of fun so far with everyone at Stuart Haas. It's been a good time. I feel like I'm happy again for the first time in a while, and feel like my 2022 self. So there's been a lot of hard work, a lot of preparation between all the guys. The camaraderie is really good over there, and just the atmosphere has been great. So really thankful for the opportunity. We got a great Surf Pro Ford Mustang Dark Horse that I was a little nervous before qualifying yesterday. I didn't think we had that raw speed pace in the car just based off of practice, but the long run was really, really good on Friday. So super excited to get out there and then show them what we got. And it's kind of a medium length race. So it'll go by quick, and we got to execute as much as we can. But just very thankful. It's been cool to see all the fans, and we're going to go have some fun today.
All right, good luck today. Jamie?
Well, Bubba Wallace, the car to watch today. I heard in the garage, people kept mentioning the 23. You agree with that assessment?
Who said that?
A lot of them.
Come on now.
Not just Toyota teams either, buddy.
How many is a lot?
I would say I probably talked to 6 crew chiefs. You were right there.
Oh, how about it? We'll see. Qualifying wasn't good. Living the repercussions of Vegas, obviously. So, not pointing any fingers, but we know we're better than where we're starting. Is what I'm getting at. So, excited about our chances. The U.S. Air Force Toyota Camry looks really good on the racetrack. So proud to have them back on our team. Hopefully to do good things with them this year, get them in victory lane. But yeah, Phoenix, we've turned it around last year ever since the fall race. So showed up with some speed. So hats off to everybody on this 23 team. See what we can do. Got to lock in and execute.
All right, sounds good. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Regan.
Carson Hocevar been turning heads this season already. Start 10th today. You going to turn some more heads today?
Yeah, normally I'm used to heads turning up when they're around me, but it's good. All eyes, or a lot of eyes, are getting towards Spire Motorsports as a whole, and as well the 77 Chevrolet. The Delaware Life car is really fast this weekend. Luke Lambert and everybody have done great work off season, really fast last week, and here again starting 10th. My best qualifying effort, and just huge momentum we're riding so far this early in the year. I think we even exceed our own expectations this quick, but this is where we wanted to be, and even more. So we'll just keep growing and execute. That's the name of the game, right? And just put a full day together.
All right, keep executing. The drivers are getting ready to get introduced. We've got lots more coming up from Phoenix Raceway. Race day's coming right back at you. Stick around. Fans ready to go. Drivers are as well. You're watching Race Day on Fox, and we're live. It's the Schreider's Children's 500 from Phoenix Raceway. It used to be Phoenix International Raceway. Now they made it simple for me. Phoenix Raceway. And Clint Boyer, in his never-ending search to hang with the fans and find the best fans, was out and about at this track.
Now, we all know when you come to Phoenix Raceway, you can expect good racing. But you may not know, you can darn sure count on sun, fun, and tailgating. And I mean a lot of tailgating, as far as you can see. Let's go see if we can find us a king. All right, guys, obviously Flag City here. When did that start? How did that tradition start? And how do you pick a favorite driver?
32 years we've been camping at this track.
That's why we love you. 32 years.
What can you say? You got to be here for the tailgate party, right?
Did you hear that, folks? I mean, can you sell it any better than that? My guy. That's right, baby. Oh, my gosh, guys. Look what I found. 4 generations of fun. Starts with you, right? Yep. And it ends with my little guy right here, Action Jackson. How about that? 3rd generation, right? Bringing the 4th in.
Yep.
What was your favorite part about coming here over the years?
It's everything I've always remembered is coming out here, having a good time at NASCAR. And then now I love to share it with my 2 sons, and hopefully they'll be the ones that pass it on even farther. Right, Jackson? Yeah. Gonna go?
Everybody needs to be here. Can you shut that loudmouth up?
Here we go. Ready?
All right, guys, we may have found the tailgate king. Always saving the best for last. Uncle Phil. Look at this. Panama. You're Panama, right? You have literally rented half the park up here for these people.
We have
you have good friends.
We have 15 spots.
You are a good friend. They have TVs, folks. They got snacks. They got, my gosh, they got a fire pit over there, the couch. Look at the rowdies. Rumor has it, somebody made a sign up here.
That's right, it's right over there.
What is it?
It says, hey, Clint, there's only one tailgate king.
Oh,
that's Panama's Hub, baby.
Shots fired.
What I'm talking about.
Shots fired.
5,400 spots, folks, over 300 acres. Tailgate Kings, this is the place. Phoenix Raceway, always great tailgating. They're crammed in there, guys. Monday to Monday, literally all week long, these guys have been out here having fun. Uncle Phil, I'm going to tell you, Kevin, that's got to be a tailgate king.
That is quite the sight there.
If there's ever a king.
And if there was ever a king, that was definitely the king over there.
Right over there, looking over the racetrack. I swear, he's the best friend anybody could ever ask for. He brought in millions of dollars worth of stuff and let all of his friends tear it up.
And this is one of those racetracks that people underestimate for how many campers there are. If you stand at the top of these suites back here and look out over the back of this racetrack, it is motorhomes as far as you can see. So you had a lot of choices.
Yeah, and hit them up on X if you want to. If we're coming to your area
yes,
for the
by
next
the way,
race.
we are. Bristol, you are on the clock. Let me know where your spots are. I'm going to come check you out, and you just might be a tailgate king of Bristol.
We'll continue live with these guys. Brad Keselowski getting the rider out of the wave to the crowd among other drivers. Kyle Larson, who won last week, in fact, 3 years ago on this track, closed out his first and to this point only championship. Now he's driving with Michael Waltrip. We'll go to the course, a conversation with him, and we will continue with Race Day on Fox, live from Phoenix Raceway. Thanks for staying with us. Counting it out to the start of the race. There's your pole sitter, Denny Hamlin, in his 11 car. Toyota's on the front row. It's a tough race. It seems like it goes by fast, but out in the desert, it's a matter of survival, as the drivers will tell you.
Some of the keys to survival in the desert.
Desert survival tips. I'd say for me, sunscreen. I'm really bad about that.
You've been dropped, but you have sunscreen? That doesn't seem right. If you get dropped and you're stuck, I don't think you should have sunscreen. Water. You need water.
Hydration? Hydration is extremely key.
Clearly water. Some type of weapon, I guess.
Some defense weapon.
A lot of crazy stuff in the desert.
That's what's worked for me.
I got nothing. They're
Kevin, you survived pretty well as a driver here, as we've often talked about. But when I said this is a quick race, it seems like it goes by fast. But you said as a driver, not so much sometimes.
Well, as a driver, it feels like it takes a long time because there's just a lot of green flag runs here. And for me, when I look at this clip we just had right here, did anybody remember that they need to eat?
Oh, I hate the desert, but you need to stay hydrated.
You got to have some food, but
what was your survival? How did you survive? Was it more mental than?
I preach survival to all of our guys that we help. You have to be able to survive these races and be smart. You have to put yourself in a position to take care of your car, put yourself in a position to be smart on the restarts, because the restarts are going to be really, really stressful here, and you're going to be 4 wide, 5 wide, and there's going to be a lot of action, and you got to protect your car.
And you've already heard me mention it. I stress, do not beat yourself.
Right, that's right.
This is a racetrack where the pit area is so important because those spots are hard to come by on this racetrack. You need to get it all in this pit road, but do not step over that line.
Yeah, it's more surviving Scottsdale when Clayton comes out.
And stay away from Scottsdale.
I'll tell you who's doing pretty well this year, Hendrick Motorsports. Kyle Larson coming off the win at Las Vegas. We mentioned 3 years ago he was a champion here. Obviously, the championship race is run. We thought there'd be a few more championships, or at least closer to those, and something that's on his mind. We'll talk about that. But in the meantime, he relaxed a little bit with Michael Waltrip out on the golf course here in the desert.
Close to the pin.
$100.
Ooh. Oh no.
I like it, but I've seen you put them closer.
But did you see that?
He's not.
I'll never do
did
that
you
again
see
in my
that
life.
though? I mean, that got hung in the flag. He's not gonna be able to do that again.
Ever.
Kyle Larson scores his 24th career win.
That's an ass kicking. Hell yeah, boys. Yeah. Good job, guys.
I love the beautiful scene of Owen and Audrey running to your cars. It's what everybody's talking about.
It's fun having the family there. They don't get to go to every race. When you do win, you want to cherish those moments, and that's stuff that I know they'll never forget, and I won't forget either.
Did you almost cry yet?
For when?
During this emotional interview.
I feel like I've looked at you a couple times, and you've almost started tearing up, not gonna lie. Have you?
Yes.
I know. Talking about family, I'm like, man, Mike's getting...
I'm so emotional.
That's why we love you.
Did you know what the significance of your next win will be?
No.
You'll become the 3rd winningest driver in the history of Hendrick Motorsports.
We are watching greatness. He's generational talent.
Do you agree that you've done something pretty special?
I try not to think about all that stuff. When it gets brought up, yes, I think it's cool. Do I agree with it all the time? Do I compare myself? Not yet. I feel like I've got decades more in front of me of racing. When I get older and I retire, I can reflect. As of right now, I'm not satisfied with where I'm at because I'm right in the middle of it.
You got to put it in to win?
Yeah, let's go.
Double or nothing?
Yeah.
Oh, you're...
Oh, that was in. That was in.
Yes.
Turn. There we go.
He did it.
Two pretty good golfers, one pretty good driver there. And Kyle Larson, how about it? I thought, are we putting pressure on him? He's 31 years old, that he should have more championships than he has already. Or how many do you think he'll have before he hangs it up?
Well, he's going to win more championships, and he's got the speed. He loves to race. This is a lifestyle. If you're going to be good at this sport, it is a lifestyle. And some guys live it on a weekend-to-weekend basis. Kyle Larson lives it on a day-to-day basis. If he's done here, when he's done here, he's going to go race a dirt car. He's going to go race a sprint car. He's going to go race a midget. This is a lifestyle for him, and he's going to win more championships. I don't know how many. I don't think anybody knows how many, but I think it's definitely going to happen.
Well, the one thing I will say is the championship game has changed somewhat, right? From Jimmy Johnson's 7 to Richard Petty's, even Earnhardt's. They're all different. I don't think that being said, the wins are going to come for him. Okay. He is with a lethal combination in Hendrick Motorsports, Cliff Daniel in particular. That is a very good combination with that driver crew chief combination, and then the history and the depth with Hendrick Motorsports. Kyle Larson is in your front runner every time.
The one thing I do want to do is thank you for letting Michael borrow your shorts.
Those are not my shorts. No, but you both have said, hey, he's the best driver all around in this sport. And Kyle Larson, 2 months he's going to do the double, the Indy 500 and the Coke 600. We'll be there to tell you about that. But what a touching scene. And you guys both experienced that when you were driving. Clint, I remember Martinsville, and we've seen Cash since. Of course, Piper, Keelan, we've grown up watching them. When they come running out, it's a special moment for you as a driver. And for us, it's a family sport to watch that.
Well, obviously, I'm pretty close to him, right? My son's the same age as Owen is. They're really close friends, race together, do a lot of things together. Our wives are friends, so we do a lot of things together. That is his ground, right? If he didn't have that family, this kid would be racing every single night. He really would. So I love the fact that they're his balance in life, and when you see him win a race, it's a celebration of family, because racing, make no mistake about it, is a family sport.
Yeah, and that circle of life is important, whether it's your kids, your finances, your racing, your team. And I think for Kyle, like Clint said, having those kids around to keep him balanced, to kind of moderate the amount of races that he runs, to have a normal lifestyle helps him tremendously. I know for me, it helped me tremendously having my kids at the racetrack, because you worry about what they say, what you say, and knowing that they're going to be able to hear and see the things that you're doing. But to have those experiences like you see right here with Keelan and Piper riding in the car, you hope that they would remember that. And I know as a parent, those are proud dad moments.
Well, look how much it changed him.
Yes. And
before kids, oh my gosh, it was crazy.
And he still won, especially here.
He was wanting to fight everybody. Then he had kids.
That was too much work, Clint.
In Phoenix. And we'll continue. Which race team is the coolest? We'll have that question. We'll have that answer. We'll talk with the Watermelon Man, Ross Chastain. Been close to winning this season. Is today his day. We'll continue live from Phoenix Raceway, counting it down, the start of this 312-miler. A popular driver who won in one of the greatest finishes ever. What a man. Look at that. Suarez. Counting it out to the start of the race. We're live on Fox, and a good look at Phoenix Raceway. A sunny day, warming up, mid-70s. We'll hit 80 by the time we roll on the race. Phoenix honoring the 2014 champion, we'll call him the Pharaoh of Phoenix, Kevin Harvick, who has dominated this place. 9 wins, 10 straight years of 21 make that straight top 10s here in Phoenix, something that's an all-time record, not just at this track, but at any track.
Domination, exercise of mastery or supremacy over another. Kevin Harvick's mastery of Phoenix can be described as nothing else but dominant.
I used to dream about coming here as a kid.
Kevin Harvick's dominance in the desert.
Happy owns the all-time career wins total in the desert.
Long time since we have seen one driver show this kind of dominance. They touch again at the start-finish line.
That's really all that matters. And all you haters, I see you.
Even more impressive than Kevin's wins would be his series record. 21 straight top 10 finishes in the Valley of the Sun.
The king continues to reign.
One can only wonder how Harvick was able to hold supremacy over the 1-mile track in the desert.
And we move down the grid with Kevin Harvick, Clint Bowyer in front of Ross Chastain's car. But how about mastering this place? I guess the key word would be consistency, right? More than anything. And how do you maintain that?
Well, it's tough to maintain because this sport is a constant evolution with the drivers and the teams and everybody always pushing. And like this weekend, you have a rule change, you have a tire compound change, you have so many things that you have to keep up with. But for the years that I went through the sport, the flat tracks were always pretty good for us. We spent a lot of times on the West Coast growing up on the flat tracks, and spent a lot of time at this particular racetrack as I was growing up. I think I ran my first race here in 1995. So I was able to race on the old configuration of the racetrack, the new configuration, but it was just a place where you had a lot of family and friends and people that would show up, and you put a lot of emphasis on this particular track.
Well, 2 different configurations. That's what's impressive about that. So many different things. You think about 21 races over a decade that this man finished in the top 10. Think about a flat tire taking out, an engine failure, something weird out of your hands, right? Nothing ever happened here for Kevin Harvick. I'll tell you what did happen. 9 times this boy went to victory lane. 2 different configurations. Pretty hard to do.
Yeah, through our years of Fox, NASCAR on Fox, being able to share that for most of your ride, always stayed cool, even in those stressful moments. And when you say something's cool,
I don't know about that.
I was being nice. Usually you don't have to define cool. You just know it when you see it, like cool people, cool cars, and cool race teams like Trackhouse.
Trackhouse on 3, 1, 2, 3. Trackhouse!
Cool. It's an aura, a feeling, a vibe. And for some, it's a lifestyle.
You work hard to work harder, to work smarter, to play the hardest. Welcome to Trackhouse.
Trackhouse Racing embodies cool. When they win,
Photo finish! Unbelievable! Welcome to the NASCAR winners. Holy cow!
when they celebrate,
Yeah, guys! Yeah!
even when they lose.
Chastain did a video game move! Holy, you see that?
Well, do they really lose?
That's about the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
A team of entertainers whose medium is sport, using the wheel to virtually reinvent it.
How about this guy? How about this guy?
Trackhouse. They don't chase swag.
It's something else that's never been done before.
Swag chases them.
Swagger with success in front of the 1 car. Ross Chastain, whose teammate Daniel Suarez has enjoyed success. And what we welcomed you here a moment ago, I said, Kevin said, you were cool. You guys are the coolest team. And what was your response?
Well, I heard y'all talking about being lit, and I can just tell you, I might be younger than you, Kevin, but I'm not lit. So.
Yeah, I'm not either, but somehow I've been convinced to be able to have to use these words in the middle of the broadcast, so here we are again.
Well, hey, you got Trackhouse, if you go back to last year, the last 4 Cup races, Trackhouse has won 2, and Hendrick Motorsports, the big boys, have won 2 as well. It shows you how far this team and you as a driver have come in just 4 years. Talk about how that's come together.
It's GM and Chevrolet. They put us on equal status with HMS, RCR, and Trackhouse to have a fair shot. We all share information. We work together. We post work after the races, and we do our pre-work together. And more engineers than ever work for our OEM and Chevrolet. So that's a rising tide raises all ships, and it definitely has raised Trackhouse.
Amen.
Well, there's definitely a cool factor to all this, but let's get to the meat on the bone here today. We've got new tires, we've got new diffuser under the back, we've got a bigger spoiler on the back of the car. What's your car driving like? Do you like practice on Friday? Is it a good weekend that you had practice and able to put your car where you think it needs to be today? It's a lot.
Yeah.
Because practice started kind of slow and you got better, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, look, we've had a lot of dogs in our life. In my life growing up, my Aunt Carla and Uncle Steve had a 3-legged dog one time, and that's about what it drove like, is what I remember her trying to walk like. So she lived a great life, and we made our car better. We found our 4th leg. So
okay, good.
We're a lot better in qualifying. I just drove a little too slow in qualifying.
So you picked us back up, Ross. Now we're saying we got a chance, got a fighting chance. Not a bad starting spot, right? You told Kevin and I when we talked to you, not really happy about your race car, but a lot of people are saying the same thing with this new package. I've got every team out here kind of scratching their heads, anticipating this race and learning a lot as we progress through their day.
Yeah, Kubota Chevy. I mean, we didn't unload great, but the great thing about this weekend is that we did have practice and we went to work on it, and we didn't make long runs early because we needed to change stuff, and we changed wholesale changes that we never do on the one car. So Phil Surgeon and this group, I got out of the car like clapping and up like excited after qualifying, because I felt the little things. Even though I underdrove the car and got loose into one and underdrove the exits, I felt the things that I felt before, and it's no telling if our balance, if we nailed it now for race pace and low tire pressure, dirty air, but we'll have a shot. Don't count us out.
Have the watermelon handy. Know where it's at. Is what you're saying.
Keep it cold.
We might be in the desert, but we got some farmers here that grow watermelons out here in the desert.
Really?
And, we got one ready.
But Florida's the best place to grow this. So what about pit stops? Where's the line on being aggressive? And here it could be big for you. It's a quick race, 312 miles.
I feel like I've got the best crew on pit road. The pit stop is not the problem. It's been the rolling down pit road too fast. The car's so fast, you can't slow down. A lot of just small mistakes that turn into really big implications for us. We've worked on it a lot. I've lost sleep over it. But Monday morning at about lunchtime, I had to put it behind me and get ready for Phoenix.
He admitted he lost sleep. Well, rest well. Good luck today. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate it. Have a great race.
Thank you.
All right, Ross Chastain. In fact, we look at the odds, the favorites, the long shots. He is, at least according to the public, one of the favorites here. You see that? Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin. There's your Toyotas on the front row as the favorites. Who you guys looking at?
Well, I like Denny Hamlin because of the fact that he has the first pit stall, he has the pole. Track position is going to be very important, and if he gets behind, he'll make it up at the end of that with that first pit stall.
Well, I got to get back away from Ross Chastain a little bit here before I say this, but keep an eye on that Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin's teammate. He came out here, was a part of that test. Car was fast in practice.
And for the long shots, we finally had a favorite last week win in Kyle Larson. Keselowski, maybe. What are you thinking?
I think that this door is open for Eric Jones and a team like that.
Believe it or not, keep an eye on this 23 Bubba Wallace. Plus 3,000, that's a good pick. Good sleeper pick.
At Trackhouse, his teammate, Ross's teammate, Daniel Suarez there on the long shot board, as he was when he won the race in that close finish. He was 40-1. You two have a good time in the booth calling the race. Should be a lot of fun with Mike Ford coming your way in just minutes. We have the grid walk coming up here, and we'll get you closer to the start of the race. Thanks for being with us live from the grid where the action is all happening on Fox. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering every lap, every mile, every victory on the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven.
Sheltered by mountains made of stars, rests a jewel in the desert.
What a day for racing.
An oasis where dreams are made and spirits are broken. The desert gives and takes freely, rewarding those who overcome.
Happy Harvick gets his 9th at Phoenix.
And punishing those who can't maintain.
Trouble at turn 2. Oh. Hold on. Caution's out.
Where tempers fly.
Who's fighting?
And champions are crowned under the gaze of Rattlesnake Hill.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Who will fortune shine upon?
We are ready to duel in the desert.
In the Valley of the Sun. This is Phoenix.
And further down the grid, wandering in the desert from the golf course, Michael Waltrip and the grid walk. Michael?
Thanks, Chris. I've caught up with Tyler Reddick. Bo's in the car. This is a beautiful scene. How you feeling about today? How's your package, you think?
I think our car's in great shape. We got a beautiful Mobil 1 Toyota Camry, so we kind of under-delivered a little bit in the second round of qualifying, but typically I'm overdriving it, so it's a starting point, right? So we'll see how it goes. Bo's making sure all my belts are in a good spot, and I guess more than anything, just staying out of the sun.
I got you. Hey, Bo, how you doing?
I'm good.
Oh, he's good. Isn't that sweet? Bye, Tyler. Have a good day. Willie B. Hi. Hi, crew chief. How you doing? You running from me? Last week, we were almost doing the grid walk. Didn't quite get it in. And my question was, how's it been over the last month being the Daytona 500 champion?
It's been amazing. It's been super busy. I really enjoy looking at all the different, the trophy and just it's the heritage of that race is so much different than any other race. So I think really it's took on a new meaning for me, but it's been very busy for sure.
It's been really cool seeing you run up front every week. How do you feel about today, new rules and all that stuff?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I didn't sleep that great, just not knowing what we're going to have, but we made a big improvement in practice, so into qualifying, so I feel like we'll have something decent.
Macy said take care of your right rear tire. You down with that?
That's important for sure. Thank you.
Okay, we got to do that. Rudy Fugo, you doing good?
I'm doing good, buddy.
What else we can come across? Eric Jones, great qualifying effort. Really cool seeing you up front. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
Good. I went to Family Dollar the other day. I got 6 pair of glasses for $10.
That's why you go. That's right.
See who else we can find up here. 1 minute to go in the grid walk. I just got the heads up. Ty Gibbs. Hello, my friend. How you doing? It's the grid walk here from the Phoenix Raceway. You're starting on the front row. How do you like this track? How do you feel about your chances?
Yeah, I feel like we got a really fast Monster Energy Camry XSC, so we made some adjustments from practice, and it seemed like it went well for qualifying, so hopefully we can just make it up one spot further today and go get this thing.
What do you think about this track? Will we see a wide groove, high-low, all over? What's your gut tell you?
Yeah, I think the top will be used a little bit, but it doesn't seem like that stuff's still up there that much, so we'll see how it goes. We'll adjust with the way the car goes and hopefully end up first.
That sounds like a great plan. Well, guys, it's been fun down here on the grid. We're going to throw it to pre-race ceremonies so we can get this party started here in the desert, Phoenix International Raceway. We're ready to roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise as you are able and remove your hats as Luke Air Force Base Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome from Scottsdale, Shepherd of the Desert Lutheran, Pastor John Carolus.
Phoenix Raceway, please pray with me today. Lord God, we give you thanks. You are the maker of all things, creator of everything made beautiful in its time. We ask that you would just bless the race today. Let the competitors perform at their absolute best. Protect the drivers, the crews, the officials, the spectators. We also ask for your protection on those who are serving their country abroad or protecting their communities at home. Inspire us to live for your higher purpose, that all would be made known to you and enjoy a relationship with your Son, Jesus. In his precious name we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Dr. Jesse McGuire.
Sunsplash Day in Phoenix, Arizona. 7 different winners in the last 7 races here. Toyota on the front row. The race in just a moment.
Every hero's story has a humble beginning. Every legend had to earn their stripes. Every superstar had a dream.
It's been a fairy tale season.
Every home track is the start of something special.
That's just good old short track racing.
Oh, little retaliation.
Holy cow!
Learn more about NASCAR regional tracks near you at nascar.com/regional.
Everyone's hyped that Wendy's made the official hamburger of March Madness $1. Yeah! But Tyler and Toby on another level.
Get it for $1. Get it for $1. Dave Single, Dave Single. Get hyped with fresh, never frozen beef on Wendy's Dave Single for $1. Only in the app.
Denny Hamlin will start this race from the pole. He's won here twice. The record, of course, is 9. Tyler Reddick, last week's runner-up. Ross Chastain, last fall's winner here. Kyle Larson, he's got a fall win here at Phoenix and a spring one. Chase Elliott, highest starting Chevrolet in today's field. William Byron, the Daytona 500 champ. They're all getting ready to duel in the desert in the Shriners Children's 500 on Fox. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Mike Joy with Clint Boyer, who won a race here for Kevin Harvick back in the day.
Good job, driver.
Of course, Kevin Harvick won them all. He's won 9 here and 21 straight top 10 finishes. Clint calls you selfish. We'll get to that in a second.
Very selfish here.
What we've got here is change. NASCAR has changed the short track package. The last 7 races at this track have been won by 7 different drivers. Does anyone know what to expect today, Clint?
Well, I think that's what I love the most about it. Anytime you shake up a rule package in this sport, it does just that. It really throws these teams, these crews for a big-time loop. Had a 50-minute practice session. Didn't see the drivers that I thought would be up front. You didn't see a Kyle Larson dominating here. Didn't see a William Byron. What you did see is Denny Hamlin on the pole here for this race. I think that's something to keep an eye on, shaking this thing up.
Well, it has shook it up a little bit, but I think the things that you're going to look for today is what happens after lap 20, because that's when we're really going to see who's got the best car. And you have to be able to be versatile. You have to be able to put your car in the middle of the racetrack, the bottom of the racetrack, the top of the racetrack, and you have to be able to make your way forward by doing that. And that's really the only way you're going to pass, is by putting your car in a different spot. So you have to be versatile. Don't give me that.
What you have to do first
you have
is
to
survive this restart. You have to be good on a restart. Cannot lose 4 or 5 spots on a restart. You're going to take all those 20 laps he's talking about, digging yourself back out of that hole.
That's right.
You know how many of those 36 drivers are glad you're up here today and not one of them down there?
All of them.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. What is it about this place?
Well, it's just a place that I always had a lot of success with and was close to home, and I wanted to do good here. So we put a lot of emphasis and a lot of effort into this track.
All right, let's go trackside.
Phoenix Raceway. This is a moment you have all been waiting for. Are you ready to get the NASCAR Cup Series Shriners Children 500 started? Here to give the command to fire engines is international patient ambassadors for Shriners Children's, Juan Diego and Gianna.
Phoenix, Arizona, are you ready? Drivers, start your engine!
Ready to race in the Arizona desert. Glad to have you with us today on Fox. What a great duel in the desert.
It's a completely different atmosphere.
All right, man. Have fun today.
Right where we left off last week.
Go do your thing.
I'm going to give you all I got today. I know you'll do the same. Be smooth, be smart. We'll be there at the end.
All right, here we go. Ready. Ready. Race.
Welcome back to the Shriners Children's 500 as they roll off pit road. Let's get a word with the pole sitter.
How about you, Denny Hamlin? Boring the boards up in the booth. You got us?
What's up, fellas?
Well, you're up, buddy. I tell you what, it's been a while since we've had a rule change, right? We've got a rule change out here. When I see rule changes, I think experience. Look for the experienced drivers. Look at you. On the pole, #1 pit box, everything systems go for you today.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of a bigger plan for us to try to get better at this racetrack. Chris and the whole team have done a great job. Give me something a little bit out of the box from what we're used to. We're trying to get a little more competitive here. So it's obviously been a great start to it.
All right, buddy. Good luck out there. Hold them off.
Thank you, guys.
Let's have a look at the Shriners Children's 500 starting grid. Ford's had dominated qualifying until this week, but it's an all Toyota front row with Denny Hamlin, his 41st Cup pole, most of all active drivers, and Ty Gibbs matches his best ever Cup start.
Starting third in the 9 of Chase with Chase Elliott, who won here in 2020, and Eric Jones with his best start since February of 2022.
Look at this row 3 right here. William Byron won this race a year ago. Keep an eye on him. And Tyler Reddick, pretty fast out here. Best Phoenix start so far.
Here's Regan Smith.
It was also close 1 week ago for Tyler Reddick, the driver for 2311, the team co-owned by Michael Jordan, coming up just short in what was a fantastic battle with Kyle Larson at the end of the Las Vegas race. That disappointment this week was used by the team as motivation to come to Phoenix and try and get 1 spot better as they look for their first win of the season. The team told me the car today, very good. They feel very optimistic about their chances this afternoon.
Chase Briscoe, the 2022 winner, shares the 4th row with Noah Gragson, who's been top 10 in 2 of this year's 3 races, Kevin.
Let's dial up Gragson. Noah Gragson, Kevin Harvick up in the Fox booth. You've had a great start to the season with a couple of top 10s. You guys look strong in practice, qualified well. Tell us how you're going to keep that streak going today.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys chatting with us. This is a really fun racetrack. This Servpro team, they've been doing a lot of good work these last couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun. So very grateful to be back out here, having a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite racetracks. Always a good crowd out here in Phoenix. Drew Blinkensurfer and the rest of the guys, they've been working so hard, and we've been enjoying it. So we want to keep this momentum coming, keep on executing, keep the race, going with clean execution. So we're excited to go. Packed house. It's going to be a fun one today.
All right, buddy, we appreciate that bright car. Will do good for us.
Yeah, these Servpro colors look great. We'll put on a show for you guys. Thank you.
Row 5. Michael McDowell from nearby Glendale finished 9th here last fall. And a surprise in the top 10, rookie Carson Hocevar making his 2nd Phoenix start. Row 6, Martin Truex Jr., the 2021 winner, and Ross Chastain, who won here last fall. Row 7, Christopher Bell, really fast in practice, and Chris Buescher, who was 5th here last fall. Row number 8, Daniel Suarez, the Atlanta winner, and Ryan Blaney, the series champ. Here's Jamie Little.
Well, Mike, last time Ryan Blaney was here, he finished 2nd and won that championship. In fact, he's finished 2nd the last 3 straight races here at Phoenix. I just talked to him before he got in the race car, and I said, where do you need to be better to get 1 spot better? He said, off of turn 2, I need to execute better. We need to be a little bit faster on pit road as well.
Here's Kyle Larson in row 9 with Brad Keselowski and the rest of our starting lineup. Across the bottom of your screen, we'll check with our crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Well, Mike, this is the shortest track we've been to so far in 2024, and you guys keep talking about a slightly different aero package. It has a little bigger rear spoiler, but the biggest change is underneath the rear of the car with the rear diffuser. It's much smaller than like what ran at Las Vegas. Look at the top right there. Look how big that diffuser is. It has 5 of those strakes. Look at the one below. That's what we're running here this weekend. It only has 2 of those strakes. We've actually taken downforce away from the car. I think that's going to have more tire fall off and put more in the driver's hand, and we'll talk about it all day, Mike. A lot of adjustments on pit stops.
Thanks, Larry.
Well, it has definitely mixed things up. And when I look underneath that car, we thought it was so simple that we thought something was wrong when we went in the garage, Clint. But it has changed everything for the drivers with the way that they feel it. The tires are different with the way that they feel the car. So there's a lot of differences that these guys have had to digest over the last couple days.
Well, look what it's done to our starting lineup. I mean, one thing as of note, Chase Elliott, third, right up front, man. You look for some changes. Who does that fit in at somebody's wheelhouse? Keep an eye on Chase Elliott up front today.
I'm looking for a cloud, any cloud, and all I see is the Goodyear blimp. It is a beautiful day here in Phoenix. 77 degrees, 102 degrees is the track temp, and that grandstand is packed. They announced a sellout for this race just a couple of hours ago. 312 miles or 500 kilometers. 60, 125, and 127 laps are the stage lengths. They can go just shy of 100 laps on fuel. Let's check in with Eric Jones, Dave Ellens, and team.
Good luck down there, guys. Appreciate the hard work. Last 2 weeks, fast car this weekend. Let's make the most of it today and have a good one. Good luck.
Good start for him, Kevin.
Yeah, I think he's a sleeper in this field. We saw a lot of really fast times out of him in practice and very consistent times, but this story is yet to be told. As we get past lap 20, that's when we're really going to see who's got what with these cars.
9 different onboard camera views for you today. Should be a lot of action.
Well, they're going to be busy right off the bat on this start. This is one of the wildest, chaotic starts we have in all of NASCAR.
Here they come to the green for 500 kilometers.
Look at that, one car on the racetrack. All the way back at Chastain.
4 wide mid-pack. Whoa.
A lot of cars using that apron already.
Boy, Ty Gibbs got a great start.
Yeah, we saw Ty Gibbs right into the side draft, right? He knew Denny Hamlin was going to come down the racetrack, and he wanted to follow him down on the apron. But Ty Gibbs has been doing an amazing job at the end of last year and this year. You guys know him on that train. I think he's in position to, win a race as soon as it all comes together. So these Gibbs cars notoriously have been very good here at Phoenix, whether it's Xfinity, Cup cars, new style, old style. These guys have all done really good in Gibbs cars.
One of the biggest challenges about this, all right, you see him fanning out, going here, there, everywhere, elbows up. Look at Denny Hamlin slipping back a couple spots. To be good on a long run, like you told me, so important, Kevin. That means the air pressures are down. That means this thing's going to be light on its feet, slipping and sliding around. It'll come in, but it'll take time.
Well, it's going to be light on his feet, and a lot of times it's not going to turn very well because the front air is super low. You've got more traffic than you've ever had to deal with before in practice, and so that front end won't turn, and as soon as that front end grabs, the back will start to slide, and next thing you know, you're walking that thing up off the corner.
Ty Gibbs, last year's Rookie of the Year. These are the first laps that he has led in this young season.
We see all these cars working different lines on the racetrack, and as we go through turns 1 and 2 here throughout the day, that line is going to continue to move up. You can use the flat of the apron like we saw in the restart. You can hook the right sides on the right line, but as we come down in here to turn 3, you want to be right on that yellow line where Martin Truex is, hugging that yellow line all the way through the restart zone, and that is extra grip with that left front on that line like that.
It sounds, Kevin, with all your success here, like you loved the fact that this is 2 different racetracks with, well, really 5 different corners.
It is a very different racetrack, and really the 2 ends are very different. And as we come down into turn 3, I always prefer to be on the very bottom, and as the race goes, that groove will move up, and you can run that 3rd groove. But when you get to turns 1 and 2, you just have a lot of options to be able to drive the car in straight, to arc the car into the corner. You can run the bottom of the racetrack. You can run the middle of the racetrack, or you can drive it in straight and go up the racetrack. But as we go through the day, you'll start to see, as we see Daniel Suarez already up in that 3rd lane.
Nice to have options. Martin Truex battling with Noah Gragson. This is for 10th place. Larson Suarez. Oh, big trouble in the back straightaway. A lot of damage to the left front of Austin Cindric's car, and we're under the first caution of the day. This happened back about 30th place. Austin Dillon involved. Derek Kraus making his 2nd Cup start. Led some laps last week in Las Vegas. He's one of at least 3 cars.
Oh, Austin Dillon again getting collected in an early accident. Been a tough go for Austin.
Yeah, and that 2 car of Cindric is done. You see that left front tire sticking straight out. That one will go to the garage and be the end of his day.
All right, let's have a look at what happened here. Back at 30th.
You can see him sideways, clearing the back of the screen. Kraus is around, stacks them all up behind him. Cindric clips him with the left front. Then Austin hits him.
It's like a short day for the Morgan & Morgan onboard camera. Here's a look.
Look from Austin Dillon, and you're going to see him just nowhere to go. Watch this, in the smoke, boom, run right into him.
3rd race this year, Austin Dillon's been caught up in a wreck within the first 5 laps. First caution of the day for Derek Kraus's spin. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. And by Ford. Built Ford proud. Coming around to complete lap 10 under caution, a review of what happened in turn 2. It appeared Derek Kraus spun without contact, but it involved Austin Dillon. Austin Cindric.
Yep. You're going to see Derek Kraus right there. He just splits that yellow line and loses this car all by himself. And this car is hard to drive. And for new guys that come in or don't race all the time, it's hard to know when this car is going to spin out.
See Austin trying to avoid him. Boom, right there. He got into him. Probably going to see a slap on the wheel out of frustration and a head shake. See him come sliding in there. Just can't get stopped.
I've had this happen to me just like it did to Derek. It just you got to understand where these cars are gonna slide and when they're gonna come around on you. But when you're just getting used to these cars, they will just snap out from underneath you like you don't even know what happened.
Well, all these teams back here, you hate to say it, but it's a product of the bed you made for yourself. A tough qualifying session yesterday leads to that.
The Cindric car is going on the hook. They tried to make repairs on pit road. Looks like they're going to tow the number 2 back to the garage. Kyle Busch went to the back and then to the pits.
Yeah, and you're going to see this crewman right here is going to put that wrench in right there. He's going to do the same thing on the other side. He's basically just been, sounds like he's been sideways, and they're just trying to get the rear of the race car into the racetrack. Larry, can you tell us more?
Yeah, what they're doing is adjusting the wedge on the left rear and the right rear. Let's go to our Toyota Camry cutaway car and let's talk about what exactly is going on, because you can adjust it on the left rear, you can adjust it on the right rear, and on the back window you see these circles, and that's where they put the wedge wrench in. Let's take a look right here at the back window. Now what you're doing, you're screwing down on that jack bolt, and what that's doing, it's screwing down on a plunger that's inside that canister, and that canister pushes the shock fluid, and you can either compress the spring when you screw down or you can let the spring up when you back it out. On the right rear, when you screw down, you're taking wedge out. When you back off, you're putting wedge in. Remember, you won't wedge when the car is loose, which is exactly what's been going on with that 8 car.
Thanks, Larry. We listened in on Kyle Busch.
It's sloppy as all hell. It doesn't know whether it wants to be on the left side or the right side. It has a little bit of left rear bounce. It steers the wrong way when you lift out of the gas. Is keeping weight off the right rear. Like when I touch the flat, it just jacks sideways. If I touch a different banking angle.
All right, everybody's still on the lead lap except Austin Dillon back in the race, 3 laps down. Now Ty Gibbs got the lead from the outside on the initial start. He takes the inside this time.
Big crossover from Reddick on the bottom. Came from the outside looking under. But Eric Jones holding strong on that outside.
Yeah, the hard part about that apron, as you see Tyler Reddick down on the bottom, it's just hard to get the car to rotate and get up off the corner in the throttle. Those guys on the outside in the groove have that momentum to go back by you.
4 Toyotas leading Chase Elliott and William Byron in Chevrolets.
Danny's car's still a little bit sluggish taking off. It's telling me that's probably a good sign for a long
I was
run.
going to just say, I don't know that that's the worst thing in the world, because we saw a lot of guys fire off. Tyler Reddick was one of them yesterday or Friday that would fire off really good for about the first 10 or 15 laps. And I think as this goes, I think the cars may fall off more than these guys think they need to. And any of the cars that are handling just a little bit better are going to be able to make passes and go forward and maintain their lap times better.
Well, the one thing I definitely want to do if they have good early takeoff speed, that fire-off speed you talk about, Kevin, is make sure I get the job done. Make sure I get it as far forward as I can to get in that clean air situation. That's going to help me.
For sure.
Not this. 3 wide.
No. We're not used to seeing that 22 car back there in the middle of the pack like this at the beginning of the race. Typically, Joey Logano with his Hunt Brothers Pizza onboard camera, you know, typically they qualify good, but they are in the middle of the storm back there in the pack. Hear him downshift. You'll downshift into turn 1 after you go from 5th gear to 4th gear. I would say with the pace that they're running today, you're probably going to just carry 4th gear all the way down the back stretch into turn 3.
7th place here, Michael McDowell and Carson Hocevar holding well after starting 10th. He's 8th.
And we referred to him as a gasser. He is a guy, Carson Hocevar is a guy that's going to put the gas pedal down and be aggressive with everything. See him 3 wide all the way through the corner here. Got Ryan Blaney on the bottom, Kyle Larson in the middle, and Noah Gragson on the top.
Nemechek, Suarez looking in. And right behind them, Keselowski. And that 20 car, keep an eye on Christopher Bell today. If we get to run about 15 consecutive green flag laps, watch for Bell to move toward the front.
Well, we thought he had the best car in practice, but the bad thing for Christopher Bell was he was the best car in practice. And today, these guys have all had 2 days to talk about their cars and work on their cars and make them better from where they were in practice.
Mindful of the test that happened, right? New package with this thing. Several cars were here the test. 20. Christopher Bell is one of them. 5, 7, 43, 17, and Blaney in that 12 car. Those guys have more laps and experience on this place in this situation.
Going into turn 3, Kyle Larson gave Noah Gragson a shot going into turn number 3. Just a little one, just enough to move him up out of the groove so Larson could get track position to the inside and try to complete this pass.
Well, I've been watching this for about 3 or 4 laps, door to door. That's frustration setting in. Time to go. Get out of the way, boy.
He is definitely frustrated, and Noah doesn't want to let him go. He knows how important the track position is, and he qualified well, wants to keep his car up in the front, and Kyle Larson's like, hey, man, cut me some slack.
He's seen driving it in hard again on that outside.
And the cut the slack piece of it is gone in this day and age of racing. It's take everything that you can get, keep the track position, make it as difficult on that guy as possible, behind you, beside you, around you, whatever you have to do to keep him back there, because it's going to be twice as hard to get that place back.
What you said about track position is what drives that. The urgency. You cannot give that spot up, because he used to be able to give it. But I remember my first time at Martinsville, Tony Stewart blew his doors off, boy. I put a half a track on him. I was like, ha! He ain't that bad. 30 laps later, I was a lap down. He was lapping me.
Ryan Blaney from the Ford Performance on board. Looking back there at Martin Truex. There's your Xfinity fastest lap. And as expected, Ty Gibbs with the nose of that car in the wind has the fastest lap of the race so far. Tyler Reddick right there. Jones, Hamlin, a lot of Toyotas on that list. Regan.
Well, Mike, one of the most important parts of the day is the pre-race team meeting for these crews to know what to expect today. Earlier, Chris Gabehart, Denny Hamlin's crew chief, let us sit in on his.
Huge opportunity for us. Phoenix is a big one. Right sides aren't likely, but they're possible. Most likely 4 tires all day. Nice, clean execution on a day like today. Don't make any mistakes. Keep it in their hands. Butt ball out. Today is the day we get to go. I feel really good about it.
1, 2, 3, execute!
Probably 4 tire changes. They have 8 sets of tires plus the carryover tires that they qualified on for a total of 9 sets available. Remember, the race is only 312 miles.
Well, are they important? I can tell you this. Look over. Kyle Busch, biggest mover. Dead last, put those tires on. He's up 11 spots running 20th. I'd say they make a difference, Kevin.
They definitely make a difference. And I listened to Chris Gabehart, and He's one of those crew chiefs that he's got that dog in him, Clinton. He's just in there digging all the time.
I'd say there it is, folks. There's your words.
We're halfway in stage 1 of the Shriners Children's 500 at Phoenix. You're watching our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green to checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven. Ty Gibbs has led every one of 30 laps so far, but Erik Jones closing in from second place. Jamie.
And what a great weekend it's been for this 43 team and Erik Jones. From the get-go in qualifying, they qualified fourth. That was his best effort ever here at Phoenix, his best on the year. I talked to his crew chief, Dave Ellens, and he said there was one major contributor. We got to come here and test. He said we got a 54-lap run, and that gave us a great indication of where this car is going to go on the long run. On Friday, the most laps any of these teams got was 20, so it's paying off so far. Pretty happy in there. Wants to tighten them up on this first round of stops.
Jones holding at 0.7 of a second back of Ty Gibbs. It's an all Toyota front four with pole sitter Hamlin in third and Tyler Reddick fourth.
Yeah, they're really not getting away from one another either. Pretty equally matched that 1 through 4. But I've been keeping my eye on. You see Chase Elliott on a pylon in 5th, and his teammate William Byron at 24. Boys are starting to lay some laps down. I don't think old Hendrick Motorsports is done giving this thing away to somebody else yet.
Let's get an update on the leader, Regan.
Well, Mike, it's been smooth sailing up front so far for the 54 at Ty Gibbs, but a couple laps ago just reported to his team it feels like his brakes are getting hotter and hotter as he goes right now. Keep in mind, his teammate Christopher Bell had a brake failure in the championship race last fall here. Something to keep an eye on as we go.
Well, here's one thing I'll bring up, and we talked about this at the Clash, and that was that brake split where you'd have the different pad in the right front and left front, and you get that huge glow in the right front and builds a lot of temperature. And we do that here because it keeps the car straighter in the corner under braking and doesn't allow the back to slide out as you're hitting the brake pedal, which they will do as the tires wear. So this is really the part of the race where we start to see who's got the long run car, who's got the brakes that are getting hot and all the different things that are happening. So there's a lot to play out over these next 26 laps at the end of this stage.
Let me add one more layer to that brake scenario. When I'm loose here at Phoenix Raceway, I'm using more brake. I'm trying to keep the car underneath of me. That's the only thing, the only tool I have in my toolbox to keep this thing in straight and underneath of me. You told me the brakes are staggered. They're set up for that very scenario, so I'm going to use a lot of brake in it.
Yeah, that's one thing about this Gen 7 car. The brake package on all cars are the same. You can't deviate with calipers and rotors and things of that nature. But to your point, Kevin, what they'll do, they'll put a softer pad, a grippier pad in the right front, which makes you start overworking the right front to get the left front to stop. We saw it at Loudon last year. We saw it at St. Louis. Anywhere we have long straightaways and flat corners, the coolant just can't keep up with it.
Thanks, Larry. Austin Cindric, only car out of the race. He has been checked and released at the Infield Care Center. 4 Toyotas leading the Chevrolet of Chase Elliott, while the first Ford in the race is Michael McDowell in 7th.
Well, you heard me talk about it. Denny Hamlin, a little bit loose, taken off. Well, his car's coming to him. He's starting to move around, catching Erik Jones in front of him with Reddick in tow, doing the exact same thing, starting to feel things out in 3 and 4, moving up. See him moving around in 1 and 2 as well.
Well, you've got to be versatile here because you can't go in the corner directly behind the car in front of you, and that's just across the board and racing all over the world. You've got to be able to put your car in a different spot compared to the guy in front of you unless you have a drastically better handling race car. And in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, both of them, as you see Tyler Reddick run up the racetrack right there, both ends of the racetracks have options, and you got to be able to use different lanes in order to make ground.
What I'm seeing right now is those 2 Chevrolets beginning to make inroads on the 4 Toyotas out front. They're gaining ground. There's Blaney, 9th, second among the Fords, just in front of Chase Briscoe. And he's going to get past Carson Hocevar here.
He's top 4, really picking up. I love the way this track widens out. The options that you talk about, Kevin, it's put on full display with these guys moving around, go with or not.
And it's going to change as the day goes on and the shadows change and the temperature outside is going to keep going up. And as that ambient temperature goes up, the track temperature will go up with it. And so the target's going to move a little bit today as you get that temperature change and where you want to be on the racetrack and what your car is doing. So Denny Hamlin has been on the top of the racetrack down here in 3 and 4. And now he's back on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to go wherever Eric Jones is not going. So if he goes to the bottom in this corner, he's going to go high and try to stay out of that wake.
All right, put me in Eric Jones's car. What am I going to do? He's starting to catch me. I'm going to follow suit. I'm going to listen to my spotter. We're going to work together to try to make him aero tight behind me. If he moves up, I need to crowd that area a little bit. If he moves bottom, try to aero block him.
And you're also going to try the line that you see in your mirror, and your spotter's telling you that, hey, I need to move up and try that as well to see if that will wake my car up to something better.
19 laps to go in the first of 3 stages. Ty Gibbs has been out front for all 41 so far. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Busch Light. Race for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. And by Credit One Bank. 47 laps complete. Ty Gibbs held off the charge from Eric Jones. Jeff Gordon was involved in that Clint Boyer run, I believe.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, he was. I miss old Jeff. Called and told me he was coming in late last night and give me a chance to hang out with him. But a lot of fun at these racetracks. A lot of experience sitting there on top of Chase Elliott's box.
All right, now Tyler Reddick has moved past Eric Jones for second, and Denny Hamlin has now taken third. 12 to go in stage 1, Larry. Let's have a look at the race strategy, sponsored by Liberty Mutual.
Yeah, Mike, remember the fuel window is about 95 laps. Depending on how cautions fall, you should not have to stop in this first stage. But in the second stage and the third stage, split the stage in half. Now, if we do get a late race caution, say 15 or less laps to go, think about right side tires only. This move won the race for William Byron 1 year ago. And you know what? This is so true at Phoenix. Don't beat yourself. Both Phoenix races last year and the first 3 races of this year, pit road penalties and mistakes has ruined a lot of drivers' good days. Mike, last year, the 2 races here at Phoenix combined, 17 pit road speeding penalties.
Now that curve around turns 3 and 4 on pit lane has been troublesome. Here's Reddick looking for the lead.
You see how hard it is to pass. Even the leader out here for Reddick really come on strong. He was good on these long runs in the fall race. That's why that pit road is so important. Hard to come by on this racetrack.
Toyotas for the front spot, Chevys for 5th on the right of your screen. Elliott and Byron.
Well, and this is when it becomes tricky. You have that lap car of Austin Dillon up there that Ty Gibbs has to navigate and run in his line, and he's got to move around. So
well, it's tricky for him, but it's also an opportunity for Reddick.
That's right.
You time it and pounce on it right. Look at him. Crossover move right here. Can I get door to door with him? Might see the pass for the lead right here, using that opportunity of Austin Dillon. Looking to the bottom.
This is where I think Tyler Reddick's car right here, he's got that option of that middle lane, and typically that's not a lane that I would prefer, but he's making it work and able to run 1 lane up instead of having to run 3 lanes up. But I think as the day goes in 3 and 4, there's going to be a lot of cars that move further and further up the racetrack.
Well, Tyler Reddick's wanting to be on that outside. He's moved up and took that line away from him. You pass me, you're going to have to do it on the bottom. Well, I can also pinch your exit off down there.
He's making it work okay on off the exit of turn 2. He's good through the center of the corner on the bottom. He just can't quite carry that momentum, and Ty Gibbs doing a good job moving around.
Takes that exit away from him.
6 to go in the stage. Ty Gibbs trying to hang on and score the stage win here. Tyler Reddick trying to take it away.
Well, that stage in pays 10 points, and it also gives you 1 playoff point.
Playoffs.
So you want to take all those points that you can get, whether you can get them for the race today or for the playoffs in the long run.
Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones being brought back to the leaders and bringing Chase Elliott with them.
Really taking that line away from him. You see it again right there. If he could ever get to his right rear, he'd have him passed.
Well, and he went all the way down the racetrack, basically just trying to look in his mirror and stay in front of Tyler Reddick, because I think right now that's his best defense, because if Tyler Reddick gets around him, he's going to drive away.
Well, he gave him that outside finally. Look at him looking in the mirror. Still clear. Good corner right there for Ty Gibbs.
Up to fifth gear, back down to fourth for turn one. Reddick again to the bottom, trying to draw even.
Way on the apron there, door to door.
Drag race. It'll be 3 to go in the stage this time. Reddick sends it in on the inside, edges ahead, and he's going to maybe lead his first lap of the day. Maybe.
He just barely missed that left front on the yellow line down there, and when you miss that yellow line, you just have to wait on the front to turn just a little bit longer. But this seems to be his better end, and because he's got the option to drive down on the apron on the exit, but he's got him cleared this time.
Tyler Reddick to the lead.
Great work, Tyler Reddick. Exactly what I saw in that fall race. This car was bad fast on the backside of these runs. Nobody runs that outside line and can make that work better than Tyler Reddick.
Well, it's not just that outside line. It's that he moves around, right? He can run the outside line and then he'll pull it back down, and he just is willing to experiment and move around more than it seems the other guys are. But that's kind of that dirt background.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's a dirt background. Move around, figure out another way around it. Dirt tracks change every lap.
Prior to today, Toyotas had only led 15 laps at Phoenix with this 7th generation NASCAR race car. Big difference today.
Going to be a busy pit road as soon as this caution comes out, but man, he is pulling away. He likes what he feels so far, and his crew chief on the box, he's liking them lap times.
We're going to finish stage 1 with 34 cars on the lead lap. Austin Dillon multiple laps down, and Austin Cindric out of the race on a lap 6 crash. For Tyler Reddick, his first stage win of the season and his first at Phoenix. There are the drivers who have scored stage points. After these first 60 laps, Tyler Reddick, your leader. In just 3 weeks, pro football is back. The UFL kicks off Saturday, March 30th. USFL champ Birmingham taking on XFL champ Arlington on Fox. Kickoff weekend then continues Sunday, March 31st on ESPN. End of stage 1. 4 Toyotas out front: Reddick, Gibbs, Hamlin, Jones. Then the Chevys of Elliott and Byron, and the Fords of Blaney, McDowell, and Briscoe. Jamie?
Well, Mike, Christopher Bell got a new pit crew at the start of the playoffs last season. Those guys helped make it to the championship 4 right here in Phoenix, and that change was made permanent. So now let's say hello to Team 20.
Blake Houston, front tire changer, former baseball player at Catawba College, 2023 Pit Crew Challenge winner.
Michael Hicks, rear tire changer, the crew chief for my 9-year-old little girl go-kart racing, 50 career plus cup wins, 3-time pit crew competition champion.
Jake Holmes on the tire care from Westboro, Massachusetts, former college running back, former Coke 600 winner, and I'm the current Pit Crew Challenge champion.
Darrell Edwards, Baltimore, Maryland, Jackman, former High Point University shooting guard, 2018 Daytona 500 champion, 2019 Xfinity Series champion, and last but not least, Cameron's dad.
Peyton Moore, Bueller, former all-conference linebacker at the KSU.
Did you see the neck on that boy?
Oh my goodness.
I am not messing with that crew.
And they are ready to go to work. Shooting guard to Jackman. I want to hear that story.
Oh, the story is we have a lot of athletes on pit road, and I hope
You
as
bet.
we go through the year that people realize the amount of athletes and what it takes to pit these race cars is just really over the top in the time and effort that they put into it.
And Westboro, Mass, there used to be a great little quarter-mile speedway there, just west of Boston.
Really?
Past Framingham, yep.
They're ready. On the ready.
Tricky pit road, Clint.
Very tricky.
And a busy one. 34 cars on the lead lap, all eligible to pit this time. There's the free pass car, Austin Dillon, going out and around. First test for these pit crews today. Jamie?
Erik Jones been solid so far in the 43, comes in 4th spot, lacking lateral grip overall as he runs. Stayed pretty good on the fire off. The 9 of Chase Elliott said he gets squishy free on the left rear. Wants to tighten it up just a bit for the start of the run, but pretty happy. Regan.
Tyler Reddick in the 45, happy with the balance of his car. A little tight at times, a little loose at times, wants to keep up with the racetrack in the 54. Ty Gibbs gets tight in the center, meaning the front won't turn. That causes the back to get loose on the exit.
All right, here comes Reddick. He's going to beat Ty Gibbs. There goes Hamlin. Hamlin from pit box number 1 will get the lead.
Well, that's what we talked about at the start of the race. I mean, that pit box 1 here is the most advantageous pit stall that we go to on the whole circuit. So that was a huge move for Denny Hamlin to get the pole today.
Erik Jones lost 6 spots on pit road. That's what they're discussing. Ty Gibbs down 3. Time to get ready for the Big East tournament on Fox and FS1 and see who rises up in the world's most famous arena to take the conference crown. It all tips off Wednesday on Fox and FS1.
Always fun to be out here in the Phoenix area during this time. You got spring training going on, obviously our NASCAR, and then those tournaments. You see, boy, them people they're rowdy kind of shape, Kevin, when they get back from them baseball games and then watch basketball. It's a lot of fun down there. That's that Scottsdale place I was telling you about. We're trying to stay away from this weekend.
You didn't stay away.
I did.
You did stay away.
Kyle Larson made a second stop. Larry, what were they doing?
Yeah, Mike, what they did, it's almost like they took a chaser and ran it on the threads that single wheel lock or that single lug nut goes on. So I don't know if they were having trouble getting the lug nut off or putting it on, but it's like he took a chaser and just cleaned the threads up.
So he will restart 33rd. Carson Hocevar had a loose wheel. He had to come back in. He's 34th. Regan?
Yeah, Mike, they actually feel like it was an issue with the actual wheel itself. They're going to swap the wheel out on this particular tire, so not exactly positive what the issue with the wheel was, but something in that area.
Ready for the restart. Hamlin, who was first off pit road, having that first pit stall, the most valuable pit stall in all of the Cup Series. Any track.
Sure is.
Well, it's going to get wild. 4 or 5 wide. You got to protect yourself. You got to try to make up spots, but
well, now they all know what they have for race cars and grip levels.
All right, green flag. You're about to see why this grandstand is packed. Look at this.
Man, 3, 4 wide, 4 rows deep. Look at this, 3 wide getting down here. This is the corner that gets really tight. See Erik Jones in there trying to dig himself back out of that hole. Got a fast hot rod, struggled on pit road.
Well, we see those 2 Chevrolets have made their way in between the Toyotas, and we see Brad Keselowski and Ryan Blaney in those Fords. So things are starting to get mixed up.
Erik Jones had a bit of contact there with Chase Briscoe coming up off turn number 2, trying to occupy the same spot.
I heard you say his name, Brad Keselowski. He is definitely a benefactor of that pit stop right there.
Yeah, his crew did a great job. We saw a couple crews not so great. Gotta be good on pit road everywhere, but man, here it is ultra important to keep that track position.
Keselowski restarted 7th. That's where he is. Ty Gibbs has been right on the bottom, but William Byron takes advantage around the outside to try to take over 4th place.
See the Ford performance cam here from Ryan Blaney.
Jamie, what happened to Erik Jones on that pit stop?
Yeah, he came in 4th and went out 9th. They had an engagement issue on the left front. The team is looking at it right now. The front changer, John Rosselli, said he wanted to watch and see what happened. Here's the pit stop. Watch the left front. They go on, and it's almost a double clutch. I'm not sure if this is something like what you saw last week in Las Vegas. You see it right there. Takes that extra few seconds, and that was 5 spots is the difference there on the exit of pit road.
Wow.
It's just a small margin of error with the single lug nut and everything that happens on the pit stop. It's 9 seconds, and something that is as simple as having to go back for that nut a couple times. It makes it look like an eternity.
Yeah.
And it feels that way,
too. If it's a 9-second stop, if it's a 10-second stop, it's eternity. I mean, it's 1 second difference makes a huge difference.
Well, look at the difference here between Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick stops. Hamlin was 0.3 faster coming in. The pit crew was a 1.5 seconds faster, and Hamlin was more than a second quicker in total.
Well, a lot of that Hamlin on the Hamlin side, the driver's side, is just the distance. When he leaves that box, he don't have to travel far. Oh.
Truex Gregson, this is for 8th.
Watch this. Bubba Wallace coming up the racetrack, gets in the side of Chastain. Chastain scrubs the wall just a little bit.
Yeah, and
those
Ross
guys are two aggressive race car drivers.
Well, I think Bubba thought he was going to come up the racetrack a little bit, and Ross was kind of squaring the exit of that corner off, and they just kind of met in the middle.
When you cut the dog leg, that shortens up the front straightaway effectively, but what does it do as you approach turn 1?
Well, what it does is it hurts my back.
Okay.
Well, first of all, how far? All right, 50 feet less time traveled,
so
right?
Basically, if you cut to the bottom of the racetrack through the dog leg right here, it's 50 feet shorter into turn 1. But as you get to turn 1, you have to have the car pointed straight so you get the right angle into the corner. But every time they hit that dog leg and they hit that flat part of the racetrack, it just makes me think about having to go to the chiropractor.
77 laps complete. Pole sitter Denny Hamlin in command in Phoenix.
The XFL and the USFL merged to create one powerful spring football league called the UFL. These players are going to play hard-nosed, passionate football. They're going to ball out. Spring football is here to stay.
The UFL season kicks off March 30th on Fox.
.84 laps complete south and west of downtown Phoenix. Sellout crowd at Phoenix Raceway for this 4th event of the NASCAR Cup season. Denny Hamlin has now been out in front for 20 laps. Tyler Reddick led for 7, and Ty Gibbs from the start of the race led for 57 in the early going here. There's the dogleg you saw that makes this track just so unique. When Phoenix Raceway was built in the 1960s, there was an outfield road course. You exited the track at the present turn 4, and you came back in at the dogleg. So it was a combined road course and oval, and that transition to the outfield road course is what gives this track its unique shape that it retains today.
It's by far the biggest dogleg we have. I mean, it's pretty aggressive. You can see it right there in that aerial.
I remember when they put that dogleg in, I was like, what in the hell are they doing?
I think I said the exact same thing. Works though, makes these restarts really impressive.
It makes the restarts impressive, but it also, they have created the stadium feel here at Phoenix so that you can be right in the middle of things at the start-finish line. They've got a fan zone down off of pit road. They've got everything that you can imagine from it. So from a fan standpoint, it's really fun to watch.
Created a cool tailgating experience on that back straightaway. It used to be your start-finish line.
We've been talking about Chase Elliott this year, but not in a good way. He's had kind of a lackluster start to the season, but boy, something has brought that number 9 alive here this weekend. In his comments, he was a little dismissive. He said, well, the tire construction difference, I don't really feel it. The change in the setup, oh, I don't know, the car's a little tougher to drive. He kind of sounded like his dad. Bill used to often say, we'll just have to wait and see. Well, what we're seeing is Chase Elliott being the strongest of the Chevrolets today.
Yeah, and he's probably a little bit grumpy just from having to answer all those questions. And I think today is just one of those days that they need. They need a good solid day from start to finish. He had all the trouble last year, and they just need to have a good solid day.
Now Kyle Larson currently in 20th place. Let's get an update from Rico.
Well, Mike, we saw the issues on the pit stop for Kyle Larson, and I can tell you no real answers down here as to what took place. The pit coach for Hendrick just told me it's something he's never seen before. They could not get the wheel to tighten up onto the left rear of the car as they did it. Chad Knaus has been down here checking things out. Cliff Daniels down here going over everything with his team. A head scratcher. Not exactly sure if this is going to be something they're going to fight the rest of the day or not.
Well, I heard Larry say that they had a thread chaser on there. Does that mean the threads are stripped out on that thing?
That's a good possibility. There's so many things that happen with the lug nuts and the pit stops, and the gun has so much power. You've got the detents, and there's just a lot of things going on. That's Chad Knaus.
Well, I can tell you, whoever's on the other side of that text message right there, he might have an answer.
Well, here's one of his cars moving forward, William Byron. This time to the inside of Ty Gibbs. They've had quite a battle going here since the restart.
Well, William Byron, as we've documented so many times, has just been so solid, through last year and everything that he did. And the car that's creeping in behind him is that Bass Pro Shops car of Martin Truex Jr.
Up 7 spots from where he started this. Biggest mover, Martin Truex Jr.
And this is Martin's kind of race, just really methodical, long run stuff. Put the car where it needs to go, and just go through the motions of being solid throughout the whole day and moving around the racetrack and finding that spot that works for you. And Martin, you see him just find the open space right there in between those two cars to put as much air as possible on the front of it.
When I thought about changes that are coming into this racetrack, right, we have a aero balance change. A lot of these things you think experience. Heard me say that in Denny Hamlin. He's leading the race. Teammate Martin Truex Jr. a lot of experience as well. Jamie?
Well, you guys were talking about Chase Elliott, and I asked his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, this morning about where Chase is mentally. He said, you have to go back to when this new car came out, trying to figure it out. Then last year, he breaks his leg at the start of the season. Some other issues happen as well, and it hurt his confidence, and that's what they've been dealing with. He said, but slowly he's getting back to the old Chase. The first 3 races of this season, he feels like they've really run better than they finished, but they've got to get that first top 10 of this season, and it just builds the confidence in Chase and makes him better.
Well, today could well be that day. Coming around to complete lap 95 of 312 today. Denny Hamlin out in front now for 31 laps total. NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Verizon Frontline, built for 5G, built for first responders, and by Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. Closing in on 1/3 distance in Phoenix. Your recent Cup champions decided here in the Arizona desert in the season's final race. Denny Hamlin hoping to join that group. We talked at the top of the show about how the last 7 races here have had 7 different winners. Denny Hamlin not yet among them. He could run that string to 8 today.
Well, I think they know if they're going to win a championship, they had to get better here. We see all those pictures of championship trophies being held up, and Denny's not one of them. And you're going to have to be able to win at this particular racetrack in order to win the championship. And you heard Denny talk about him and his crew chief putting some emphasis on this race to be able to do that.
Let's have a look at today's lap leaders, sponsored by Shriners Children's. Ty Gibbs the most. Denny Hamlin closing in on that number, and Tyler Reddick's been out front for 7. Christopher Bell coming into the picture. As we discussed, you get a long green flag run. That's where that car was really stellar Friday in practice.
Yeah, Christopher Bell was definitely one of the cars that we thought had the best car in practice, and didn't qualify as well as some of his teammates, and it makes it a little difficult to get to the front and just takes a little bit of time. But those guys have been able to make a change on their car, work their way towards the front, and just pick them off one by one.
From the Monster Energy cam of Ty Gibbs, looking ahead at Bell, who restarted 11th and is now 6th. Eric Jones lost a bunch of spots in the pits, as Jamie documented, trying to work his way back up, but he's going the wrong direction. Restarted 8th, currently 11th.
I know you know, Corelli, but let's not with this one either. to the plan and get by them. Remember, we'll build long speed here, and then obviously we got the air. When we get there, we ain't playing. We're going.
What he's saying is, don't mess with those guys. Get them elbows up, move them. We need to go. We need to catch up on this track position. But look at the difference. Look at the difference that Clean Air made in this car in particular. He gets mired back there in traffic, and he's actually lost ground.
Well, and that's what they're talking about. When you have the chance and you're right next to somebody, you got to figure it out. You got to go in a different line. You got to drive it in the corner further if you're side by side. You got to be aggressive when you have the opportunity to make those passes.
Well, all right, crew chief. Quit losing spots on pit road, then. I'll handle it out here. You do your job in there.
I would agree with you on that.
Long green flag run here. When we come back, we'll check with Larry and see when we can expect green flag pit stops for the first time today. Watching Denny Hamlin lead from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Powering every lap, every mile, and every victory on the road ahead. Goodyear, more driven. Hamlin has a 1.2 second lead on Tyler Reddick. So Larry Mack, when might we expect green flag stops?
Yeah, Mike, we went back racing at lap 69, which is 116 laps to go in this stage. If you split that right down the middle, that's 58 laps run. But what we've been seeing this year when they've been splitting stages is drivers coming a little earlier than halfway. I'm going to say in the next 8 to 10 laps, you're going to see green flag pit stops. Remember, like Las Vegas, once one car comes, you can't be far behind because you're going to give up so much time.
Well, I think one of those cars that'll be coming will be these guys fixing to go a lap down. Think big names, Kyle Busch, some of those guys are going to be looking to do something different.
Kevin, what's the biggest challenge of this pit road for a driver?
Well, this pit road has a huge curve at the end of it here, and you have to go straight coming into the pits. But as you get into this corner on pit road, you have to bump the speed up almost 2 miles an hour to be able to get the pit road speed where it needs to be set because of the way that it's measured in the corner. You can go faster there. Ryan Blaney on pit road.
4 tires there.
So this is going to start that cycle like Clint was talking about. Once somebody pits, now you're going to lose over a second a lap if you don't pit, and we're seeing a whole bunch of cars start to come to pit road.
So Blaney pitted from 8th. Here is Kyle Larson, who is back just barely at the top 20.
Byron Truex, here's some of your front runners.
Jamie?
Martin Truex Jr. had a bit of a slow stop the first time around. He wants the rear end to rotate just a little bit, just too tight, which is what they're pretty much all saying, Regan.
William Byron in the 24 car is just too tight to fire off. Needs to be a little bit looser with the back of his car, especially when he's following cars. Needs help with the nose. Jamie.
Chase Elliott turning some of the fastest laps, lap after lap, saying the car fired off with better speed that time around. Not doing what he wants on entry, so they'll free him up. Maybe just a tick with air pressure on that as the team goes to work. 4 tires, and they'll fill him up here.
We'll note that Kyle Larson made a 4-tire change that was incident-free. No further problems on that left rear.
You see Denny Hamlin, your leader, still on that racetrack.
Well, Denny Hamlin had a gap, and see Ty Gibbs on pit road here. Have a lot of trouble on the right rear, Clint.
Regan?
45 of Tyler Reddick, one of the few drivers on my end of pit road I can hear saying that his balance is good. The team reminded him not to slide too far through the pit box. He did that on the first stop.
Here comes Hamlin at lap 118. Suarez completing his stop as Reddick leaves.
As you see Denny Hamlin go through the corner right there, you want to stay above those dashed lines right there to make sure your pit road speed is accelerated to where it needs to, and then you have to slow back down right here. But Denny, he's going to have a little trouble.
Oh, he had trouble getting in. Suarez moves up. That's going to cost him some time.
Regan.
Denny Hamlin always very descriptive about what his car is doing. Loose in at both ends of the racetrack. He likes to center, and the exit is too loose.
Todd Gilliland is the race leader. He has not pitted, nor has Kyle Busch. Ricky Stenhouse just in. Hocevar and Kraus on a lap by themselves. Gilliland, a great outing at Atlanta, led a career high number of laps. And Kyle Busch has been outside the top 20 all day. Good time for a gamble, I'd say.
Well, Tyler definitely caught him a little bit. You saw that mishap getting into his pit stall. Narrowed the gap up, probably a little bit of that stopping early, and the rest of it was the trouble that he had on the pit stop, but did not get the job done and pass him, but definitely caught him.
Well, Denny Hamlin had trouble coming right out of the pits behind Josh Berry in a 4-car, and Tyler Reddick pitted a couple laps before him, so he definitely lost some time. Denny had to wait for 99, and really this is what it's all about. It's all about time. How can I make the least amount of mistakes, and when I get back on the racetrack, hopefully you come back out in a clear spot and you can run those first laps and gain the most speed that you can by running the best lap times.
And Reddick gained 0.6 of a second on Denny Hamlin during their green flag pit stops. And back out on track. So Larry, Gilliland, Busch, Stenhouse, Hocevar, Kraus. How long can they run?
Yeah, I mean, on fuel, Mike, they can probably run another 40 laps up to north of lap 160. Now, they're going to be giving up so much time, but if we run enough laps and the caution comes out, they'll pit and everybody will come back to pit road behind them and get 4 tires. It's not like the people that's just pitted will just stay out.
Well, they were on the brink of going a lap down anyway. I think they're trying to give Luck a chance to operate here.
Yeah, their cars just aren't very good today, and they're hoping that they can turn it around with a little bit of luck, with some strategy and everything that's happening. So you never know, and sometimes this will turn your day around if you can catch the caution flag at the right time.
Kyle Busch to pit road. Remember, he has 3 new pit crew members this week among his over-the-wall crew. They changed both tire changers and the jackman, promoting 3 from the Xfinity Series that still uses the 5 lug nut wheel that we've had forever in NASCAR. They've been promoted up to the Cup Series, and they're servicing this car today.
Well, Kyle Busch's team is frustrated, and that's why they're probably aggressive with those changes, because they had a car capable of winning a race. But this is going to be the race for the lead between the 45 and the 11 right here.
Got held up behind Hocevar. Reddick did on that bottom. Heads up move by Denny Hamlin. He gave him the bottom, but he knew that lapper was down there.
The other thing that's happened right here, Clint, is I think the 45 has fired off better than the 11 this time, which that's been the opposite as we've gone through the first couple sets of tires.
Probably an air pressure adjustment with that car. Need to take off better, boys.
So Hamlin now to second, Reddick to third. Still 4 seconds back of race leader Todd Gilliland. So that leaves 4 drivers that have not pitted. Gilliland the leader, Stenhouse and Hocevar 4th and 5th, and Derek Kraus now 10th.
Well, Denny Hamlin, with all that trouble that he had, I know he gave up some of that gap, but these guys have established themselves as, I think, the best 2 cars. Maybe we'll see somebody else creep back up in there. Christopher Bell's making some time and making his way back through the pack from bad qualifying and has picked them off one by one. But I think he's really probably the only one that can probably put himself in position with those front 2 right now.
Bell and Elliott, this is for 7. Regan.
Well, Mike, trouble for the 54 of Ty Gibbs on that pit sequence right there. Lost a number of spots. They were slow with the rear. Had to go back and recheck one of the rear tires on it.
And that will leave him in 15th after the green flag stop.
Oh, let that tire down. Didn't have the right rear wheel on it. Saw that change of look up. Hey, man. Costly mistake right there. Fundamentals, boys.
Well, it's good that they jacked that car back up and just took the time to fix it, because the last thing we need are tires flying around and having something happen like we saw last week at Las Vegas, and we've seen so many times. It's so hard to explain how intense the pit stops are because of the amount of time that they're on pit road. 9 seconds to a 10-second stop it seems like a catastrophe once you come back out on the racetrack. So these teams push it, and sometimes they recognize the mistakes that they made, like they did right there, and fix the problem.
So Hamlin and Reddick on your screen, they've now closed to within 1¼ seconds of Todd Gilliland. There's Todd, who has not yet made his green flag stop. He was last in the pits, lap 65 at the end of stage 1.
Todd Gilliland had a great first couple weeks of the season, had some trouble last week in practice, and car's not quite where it needs to be today. So they're just trying a strategy.
Well, his strategy's about up.
Well, 4 races in, and already Front Row Motorsports, Gilliland and McDowell have led more laps than Front Row has ever led in a season before.
Man, this battle for the lead between Reddick and Hamlin is fantastic. Hamlin searching around looking for grip on this racetrack, been low, been high. Reddick just hounding on him.
Yeah, it's not quite the lead yet, but they're right there with the leader. And we saw Tyler Reddick do this earlier to Ty Gibbs when he was taking the lead earlier from Ty Gibbs. He's just able to cut that car down in the middle of turns 1 and 2 and go in places and put his car at angles that other guys aren't. And that's how he's going to get by Denny Hamlin right here as well.
Well, this caution better hurry. They're the leaders.
8th place on the right of your screen, Martin Truex, Chase Elliott. And they are about 7.6 seconds back of Gilliland, who is about to surrender the lead to Tyler Reddick.
You noted it, Kevin. That car took off better, whether they made an adjustment or just set of tires or whatever. But that Reddick car really took off a lot better on the front side of this run.
Yeah, and he came on a little bit too late in the runs before, so it's probably you're probably right, trying to make that car take off a little bit better.
73 of Stage 2's 125 laps are complete, and Reddick is in front.
Get loud and ready. This is a Big East tournament, folks. Bring the hammer. It's time to settle the score.
This is what it's all about. A champion will be crowned.
You know the crowd is ready. The Big East tournament tips off Wednesday on FS1.
NASCAR on Fox is sponsored by Credit One Bank and by Toyota. Let's go places. Boy, a couple great moments from Phoenix right there. Alan Kulwicki's first ever win. Jeff Gordon, what a great salute to Dale Earnhardt as he tied Earnhardt's win total in the Cup Series. That was the day the Polish Victory Lap was born, right here in Phoenix, and it was pre-planned. Alan said, when I win a race, I want to do something the fans will remember forever. And he did.
I always like doing the Polish Victory Lap because it just, I felt like the crowd could see you. You could see the crowd.
You could see them.
You could see them. That was the biggest thing.
And he was proud of his heritage. He named it that. And Alan posthumously was inducted into the Polish American Athletes Hall of Fame in Milwaukee.
I feel like I learned something every week from you, Mike.
You know what I like? That era.
Yeah.
Those cars were so cool. Fan base was awesome. Just really neat race car drivers.
Well, here's your Progressive race summary. After 141 laps, 4 different leaders, 5 lead changes, 25 cars on the lead lap. And the next of those leaders is likely to be Christopher Bell. He's been the fastest car on the racetrack the last 10 laps or so. And as things shake out here, once Todd Gilliland makes his stop, Bell will be up there in the top 3. And he's closing little by little.
Well, he's going to have some track position now. When they make this next pit stop, he's going to be up there with the boys that have been controlling this race. And I think he's going to be right in that mix. I think right now he's a little bit better than Denny Hamlin. And it seems like he and Tyler Reddick are pretty evenly matched. It depends on the lap. So it'd be great to see him go toe-to-toe here after we make the next pit stop.
William Byron, who with Chase Elliott has been the class of the Chevrolet camp here today, currently 5th. And let's check in on a driver who's having a bit of a tough day, Jamie.
It really is, Mike. We haven't talked about Joey Logano today. He's back there outside the top 20, actually right where he qualified in 23rd. Talked to Joey this morning. He said, I've started on the front row the first 3 races this year, but this is the place I expected to get the pole, and that was not the case. He said they had to tighten him up, and he just got slow, and that's kind of where he's been today. No major complaints. The car is turning good, but he's back there mired with the rest of them, Mike.
First race of the year that Joey Logano has not started on the front row.
Yeah, and when you have those days where you just don't really know what you need to do to be better, it's just tough to be able to figure it out. And you'll have to go back to the shop and figure out what did we do wrong fundamentally to make the car better. So definitely interesting at one of Joey's better racetracks to see him struggle. Here we go. Got a foot cam of Alex Bowman here. Alex is running 11th. I had to figure out where we were. So now that we've shifted, so we're going into turn 1. You see him just progressively let off that brake pedal, and when he gets all the way off the brake pedal, he just squeezes that throttle down on the right to try to wait for the car to turn and drive it back off the corner when he feels like that the tires are gripped up. A little quicker release of the brake down here in turns 1 and 2. You can put that throttle down a lot harder right there as you're driving up the banking towards the start-finish line. Up to 5th gear. You want to have that big spike in the brake pressure right as you come down into the corner, and you want to release the brake pressure slowly to help the front tires turn.
Staying right down on that yellow line on the bottom. Pretty good hot rod right there. He seems pretty smooth with his steering wheel. It tells me he's got a pretty good grip level in that car.
Yeah, it's you know, I think the car is, I mean, he's got a decent car, but I think that the things that the guys do up front, they can just move around the racetrack better, and just being locked to the bottom is not what the guys are doing up front.
Jamie?
One of the best looking paint schemes out there, Mike. Best Friends Animal Sanctuary. They save thousands of animals across the country year round. They've got dog prints all over it. But as far as how it's handling, it's pretty good. He's been methodical here. Started 25th. They made some good adjustments and working his way forward at what he calls his home track. Regan?
Brett Keselowski in the 6 car having a very nice day. Started 18th, has worked his way up to the 9th position. One of the drivers that's a veteran and loves getting extra practice gave him an opportunity to really try and work on dialing in that 6 car yesterday on Friday during the practice session. Right now the report from Brad, just a little bit too tight across the center.
Because of the new short track package, NASCAR, instead of having 20 minutes of practice for each car on Saturday before qualifying, they opened the track on Friday for one long 50-minute practice session for all drivers. Seems to have paid off. 151 complete, very close to halfway, with Tyler Reddick out in front of Denny Hamlin by 1.1 seconds.
So much fun being had in the infield of these racetracks. You've been seeing me cover at the Tailgate Kings, buddy. This is the king of this weekend. Panama's Pub. Uncle Phil and his wife's name Panama. That's her pub. These guys, here they are right here in the backstretch. That's his. He's rented pretty much all of this, but that guy right there, Uncle Phil, he is the guy that you need to know. Fun being had right there.
The camper area is huge here, and they open it up on Monday. Folks are here. They don't have to leave until tomorrow evening, so it's a whole week of partying.
You see, he called his shot. Well, he knew what he had.
7th place. Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott. Ahead of them, Todd Gilliland, who is still out there, hasn't made his green flag stop yet, holding on to 6th place. This is 7th.
Well, and as we normally see every week, we see that 12 car start to come to the front of the race, front of the pack as the race goes on. And that's what Ryan wanted to see right there. He wanted to see Todd Gilliland go to the bottom of the racetrack so that he didn't have to follow him through the corner, because the corner before that, Chase Elliott had to follow him, had the clear lane, and Ryan had to follow. So now
using Gilliland as a pick.
This will move Blaney up to 6th place. Now, among the top 3, Reddick has a 1-second lead. Christopher Bell should catch the leaders right just before the end of this stage, the way the lap times are running right now. We've got some audio from Denny Hamlin.
The only one that can be coming at times. When he does, he's out in speeding you through 1 and 2 and running the bottom doing it. He's loose, so it allows him to get off the brake really quick and back to the gas really quick. His tip in is smoother than that. Sooner, but smoother.
Well, that's interesting information, and especially since these guys are on the same team, they want to have the information and to know where they're getting beat. And up on the pit box, everybody has SMT data, so they can look at every car on the racetrack, how those drivers are driving, what their lap times are, steering, throttle, brake, RPM, speed, everything that they can give their driver to be able to say, okay, where are we getting beaten, and here's where we're getting beaten, this is why. So that's good information to have. It'll help Denny try to decide where he wants to be on the racetrack and what to think about before the next pit stop.
That's what I wanted you to say. It puts it in the back of his mind. Maybe I can't do that right now, but let me tell you something. If you need me to do that, I need this adjustment right here. You make it a little bit better right here, and I've got that. If I can't do it now, tell me what you need so you can.
Contact coming out of turn 4 between Brad Keselowski and Noah Gragson as they fight for position. Here's a look.
A little persuasion there.
Yeah, and I think that Noah was trying to go underneath the car that was above him. We see Todd Gilliland on pit road.
So Todd Gilliland finally makes his green flag pit stop. That'll take him out of the top 10.
That was a long run for him.
Yeah, and I think the strategy on that was what we talked about, just hoping for that caution. I think that was the strategy, was hope, and hoping that caution would fall before they had to pit. So that didn't work out.
But Larry, did he stop late enough to be able to flip the stage now? Gilliland,
no, because Mike, we still got about 20 laps left in this stage, so he's going to be out of tires even at the end of the stage. So it was a good gamble. I give credit to Ryan Burgundy, the crew chief. You know, if you follow the leaders, you'll follow the leaders all day. They tried to do something a little bit different.
Good point. Here's Christopher Bell coming into the picture, starting to fill up the mirror of Denny Hamlin in second place. Look at how that gap has come down over just the last 3 laps.
And at this point of the run, this is when the cars just start to get ill. The brakes are hot, the front tires are hot, the back's sliding around, and you're trying to just ease the throttle and the brake and really be gentle to everything, all the inputs that you're giving into the car. So it's the cars become extremely hard to drive at this point during the run, and you have to be able to move around the racetrack. But Christopher Bell's car is just fast.
19 to go in stage 2. We're going to take you Fox side by side so you won't miss a minute.
Hey, look at this.
What?
Save nearly $750.
With that kind of money, we could fly south.
Except we don't migrate.
No, I'm talking actually fly. Sit back, relax, maybe work on my novel, and I won't forget the little birds out there. Actually, yes, I will.
Wow, money changed you.
Just keeping it real. Do people still say that?
Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds to spend on whatever you dream up.
Honey.
Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey. Powerful cold and flu relief with a dreamy honey taste. NyQuil Honey. The honeylicious nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine.
NASCAR fans, the time is now to turn your love of racing into free tickets, merchandise, VIP experiences, and much, much more. Rack up fan rewards points by watching races at home, playing fantasy, completing challenges, and visiting tracks. Then redeem your points for epic prizes. You are in the driver's seat. What are you waiting for? Sign up for the free NASCAR Fan Rewards loyalty program today at NASCAR.com/fan rewards.
At Cracker Barrel, we've got 20 meals under $12. Every day, every craving. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Greatest hits to, ooh, all new hand-breaded Golden Carolina tenders with bold barbecue sauce. So get the gang together. Stop in, dig in, and now earn Cracker Barrel rewards.
Did you see that? Hear that? Feel that? Let's all take a deep breath. Because once we peel out, there's no looking back. You ready?
Introducing the new 2024 Ford F-150. Tough this smart can only be called F-150.
Next Sunday on Fox, Bristol, Tennessee, concrete, back on the hard surface. Pre-race, 3 Eastern. The engine Spire at 3:30 next Sunday on Fox.
I feel like this was a mean, evil trick. Like, we had dirt racing and I retired. They took the dirt off the track at Bristol, put us back on the oval, put them back on the oval at Indianapolis. That's dirty.
You ready to see that Bristol back on that concrete?
I love Bristol. There's not much better than Bristol.
Nope.
And this is something that you don't see very often. Joey Logano about to go lap down, fighting for his life to stay in front of Tyler Reddick.
Well, he'll have to do it for 12 more laps to the end of the stage, and that's going to be a tall order because look who's in the picture. Christopher Bell looking for the lead.
He's come a long ways in this run. Very impressive with this Christopher Bell. Fast race car. They've got it figured out, don't they? Found him the adjustments he needed. Way she went.
And he's doing that on the bottom of the racetrack, which all these guys are up the racetrack. And I think once they see that he's doing that on the bottom of the racetrack, I think they're going to have to work on their cars a little bit, because Christopher Bell has his right sides on that yellow line, splits the line, and just drives through the center of the corner with a ton more speed than Tyler Reddick had.
It's exactly what Logano wanted to see. What those guys racing door to door. We try to get away from him. Stay on this lead lap. He's going to have his elbows up and that car as wide as possible.
Well, Joey Logano does not want them to go by. He wants to do everything he can do to stay on this lead lap, because we only have 10 to go in the stage. And Joey Logano's a tough pass when he wants to be.
And that's exactly what Bell's wanting. Hold him up. Probably not wanting to see Reddick get side by side with him, though.
And the next car up is Ryan Preece, and he's not that far away. So Logano could lose the free pass position here before the end of the stage.
Yeah, and Logano just gave up. Once he got in that top lane, he was like, I'm defeated here.
Well, you get to see it. We were riding along with him, and you could hear it. I mean, how hard it was for him to get that car rotated. If the car was extremely tight, he waited on it way longer than you saw. Reddick was already in the throttle turning and rotated, and he was still waiting on him.
Yeah, and you see Bell's car take off right there as Tyler Reddick's car comes up the racetrack and kind of cross paths there with the air on the front of that car, just kind of lost the nose.
He can't just let him by. To your point, now he's holding up this lucky dog situation. We got to go.
So the lucky dog is going to be between the 22 of Joey Logano and the car in front of Tyler Reddick with Ryan Preece. So that's what we're talking about with fighting to keep yourself on the lead lap. That's why Joey has to race so hard.
That's exactly right.
Battle for 14th on the right of your screen. Larson, Gibbs, and Chastain as we close in on the end of stage 2.
On the right, you see Ty Gibbs going underneath the one car of Ross Chastain. Ty had some trouble on a pit stop. I feel like his car is as good as the other Toyota cars up front that are racing for the lead, and they just kind of put themselves back a little bit.
6 to go in the stage. We've only had one caution for cause today, other than the stage break, and it was the Derek Kraus spin on lap 6 that took Austin Cindric out of the race and put Austin Dillon multiple laps down. 16th place here.
Well, there's a guy that we thought would run better, Clint. Bubba Wallace. We thought he would run fairly decent today, and he has just not shown what we thought he had as far as speed.
Yeah, and I bet you they're scratching their head. I know he certainly is in that race car. His teammate leading this race.
For a little bit.
Look at this. Rolled right around him on the bottom. Is he going to get him clear? Yes,
yeah.
sir. Crossover coming. Here comes. He looked to the inside.
So Christopher Bell has driven to the lead with just a couple of laps to go in stage 2, Jamie.
And Mike, it's been a bad couple of weeks for this team, finishing outside the top 30. They desperately need to turn it around, and this is a great place to do it. As you see, this car has just gotten better. He was tight earlier in the race, but they've been adjusting on it with air pressure. And another note, all 4 of these Gibbs cars came with completely different setups. They said it's the most different they've ever been at a track, just seeing what they had, and clearly the 20 was best in practice. Qualified a little farther back than expected, but pretty good right now as he's our leader.
I like what Jamie told us right there. Been adjusting on that 20 car, the air pressure. The other one that you pointed out, Kevin, 45 Reddick, possibly made an adjustment. His car took off way better on the front side of that run. Now paying the price a little bit on the back. Can they make an air pressure adjustment to, hold pace on these long runs with Bell?
Well, he's got new competition at the front of the racetrack. He's not racing the 11 car right now. He's racing that 20. So they're definitely going to have to do something different. And Christopher Bell's good on the whole run all the way through the end. So they might have to rethink and maybe split where they adjusted on the air pressure.
And they're all going to be racing Denny Hamlin's #1 pit stall.
Going to have to deal with him.
All right, Ryan Preece is now the first car 1 lap down. He's in the free pass position with 2 to go in stage 2. Bell, Reddick, Hamlin, Byron 5 seconds back, then Truex 9 seconds back. Joey Logano no longer in the free pass position.
Wow,
he'll
Reddick
be a lap
was
down
loose.
at stage end.
Really loose underneath Preece right there.
Final lap of the stage, Michael McDowell ahead. And a lot of traffic right there. McDowell and Zane Smith and Chase Briscoe.
McDowell saying, go, 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 boys, go, go. He's right on me.
And Bell can cruise to the stage win, his first of 2024. He only had 1 stage point this season entering today. A playoff point, 10 championship points, and the stage win for Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs, and Toyota. Pit stops coming up at the end of stage 2 here in Phoenix. Denny Hamlin with that #1 pit stall. Let's see if anybody can beat him away from pit road. Stage 2 ends. Christopher Bell, the stage winner. Ryan Preece got the free pass. Get you ready for the Big East tournament coming on Fox and FS1 this week. Madison Square Garden, conference crown at stake, and it tips off Wednesday on Fox and FS1.
Oh boy.
Kevin, I've heard you in our meetings, you talk about this #1 stall, the advantage of it, but you kind of have some mixed emotions on the distance off of that stall.
Yeah, well, I'm of the opinion that the distance from the end of the first stall to the white line that scores everybody, I think it should be the same every week. There's really no reason that the distance from each stall shouldn't be the same. So that would be something that I would like to see. And what we've got right here is as we see this picture, this white line right here. That's the only thing that Denny has to do is get his nose of his car to that line, and that's what scores them out of the pit. So.
Pit road speed is a yellow line, but that is the scoring timing line.
Yeah, and we see the stats of just how important that first pit stall is. And as you go through qualifying and you get that first pit stall, and William Byron had it last year when we lost this race last year on a pit stop and strategy and everything that happened. But yeah, I'd like to see that line be consistent from the end of that first pit stall. So it's the same every week. So it's not one race advantage, especially since we decided the championship here.
Think back to the championship, Kyle Larson having that stall beat him out and won the championship.
And that distance should be long enough so that no one pit stall has a huge advantage over any other. All right, lead lap cars can pit. Jamie.
Christopher Bell comes in as the leader. We featured his pit crew earlier today as they go over the wall. Christopher said, I'm good on the long run. Let's leave it alone. No air pressure adjustment here, just 4 tires. The 19 of Martin Truex Jr. needs more lateral rear grip. A small adjustment for him. Regan.
Well, the normally quiet Tyler Reddick, who hadn't said much to this point today, told his team on this run he's losing rear lateral grip more so now than before. The team reminded him that was the longest run and it was a green flag cycle. And Denny Hamlin in the 11, the tires fell off for him too much on that long run. He got real free. Not exactly sure what he needed though because of how it fell off there.
Tyler Reddick with a full head of steam.
There it is.
And Hamlin with that little squirt out of the #1 pit box back to the lead. Christopher Bell, first stage win of the season. And it comes here in the Arizona desert.
The Toyotas were strong in practice and qualifying, and they have been so strong today, winning both Stage 1 and Stage 2. They have led all but 14 laps at Phoenix Raceway in this race today. Jamie and Shannon, let's get you caught up. Ty Gibbs started on that front row, and he was out front early, Jamie.
Yeah, Shannon led the first 57 laps of the race, took command of the race, looked to be in just great position. But you see right here, later in Stage 2, he has an issue with the right rear, and we actually saw this out of Christopher Bell at the end of Stage 2. This drops Ty Gibbs back all the way almost to 20th position. But one thing we really focused on is that #1 pit stall, and Denny Hamlin not only wins the race off pit road at the end of Stage 1, he's done it again most recently. That #1 pit stall has paid huge dividends in this race.
Ty Gibbs has yet to recover from that bad pit stop, and Christopher Bell, he won Stage 2. Passing Tyler Reddick for the lead right here. As I said, it's just been a complete domination by Toyota. But, of course, on that last pit stop, we just saw issues for Christopher Bell.
Yeah, it looks like the same thing that happened to his teammate Ty Gibbs early in the race. This has dropped him back all the way to 10th. Now, we still have plenty of time left in the race for him to make that back up. But we talk about it gets harder and harder to pass the later in the race you get.
We knew pit road was going to be an issue, Mike, and it has.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, Shannon. Jamie? Time to look at the Credit One Bank ones to watch. Clint, who you got your eye on?
Christopher Bell, again, we just watched him go from 11th to 1st in that stage. 125 laps it took him. Now he fell back to 10th. We're going to have to do it again, boys.
Well, you're going to have to pit again, and I think Denny Hamlin has the biggest advantage on pit road with that first pit stall. So you're going to have to deal with the 11, and hopefully they made some adjustments to their car to go a little bit further into the run.
So who can take it to the Toyotas? I'm watching William Byron. His team just ripped off a 9.9 second pit stop. He's the highest of the non-Toyotas, the Chevys and Fords. So keep an eye on the Daytona 500 winner. And those are your Credit One Bank ones to watch with 119 laps to go in the Arizona desert. It's Denny Hamlin on the inside of Tyler Reddick for the restart. Byron and Elliott right behind them, then Blaney, and here we fan out for the dog leg. Wow, 6 wide.
Well, it's getting closer to the end of the race, and these guys know it's time to go, and they're taking more chances, and we'll see that as we go throughout the day.
Man,
rest of the day.
They are all over the place, aren't they?
Four wide at the line. Back for 13th spot.
The guy who's had the most exciting restarts is Ty Gibbs up on the outside. It looked like he passed about 6 or 7 of them on the top side there.
Still getting it on the outside.
Somewhere I hear Christopher Walken banging a cowbell going, more restarts. And we're going to have one.
Try to get it rolling here when you can. Lead your start-finish line.
Kyle Busch around.
Yeah, this has been a bad day for Kyle Busch.
It's really been a bad weekend. Really, from the time they unloaded this number 8 car has not performed like he wants it to. We've heard him complaining a lot on the radio and lots of changes on the team, but they've definitely had a struggle to the weekend.
He was 25th, 1 lap down. When this happened,
oh, you see him right there in the middle of the racetrack. Just starts to come around on him. Got it caught up, had to correct it. Got up in the car on the outside of him. And man, it's just a handful of a race car.
Pretty much the same spot that Derek Kraus had his issues earlier when the car stepped out.
Almost got into Kaz Grala there. Single car spin for Kyle Busch. Puts us under caution for the 4th time today.
I guess I was trending on Twitter.
Yes.
A text from my wife, and she says, "What in the world is happening?" I just turned my iPad on. I pulled up Twitter, and your name is trending. Did you fall down? What have you said? What is happening? And so I had to explain to her what was going on. That I had said lit on television, and everybody was a little bit caught off guard because it's obviously way out of character for me to say it. So I guess we've created a monster.
And that would be Happy Hour, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour podcast presented by NASCAR on Fox. You've got the word of the day in, so we're good for today, right?
Yeah, it was a phrase this week, so
okay.
we've got that in.
My gosh, next week it could be a whole sentence. Who knows?
Well, yeah, you're right.
Jamie.
Well, Mike, we documented the slow stop for Christopher Bell and the 20 team. Michael Hicks is the rear changer. We watched it back. Hard to tell exactly where it went wrong. What happened?
So the wheel didn't make it over the drive pins, and it was kind of stuck. So I had to stay on the lug nut just to ensure and watch that the back of the wheel made it to the back plate. So just that's what, sometimes you gotta stay there longer to make sure the wheel's tight, and that's what I had to do.
Well, I appreciate your time, Mike. We celebrate when they do good, and we appreciate when they talk when something goes sideways and they have a slow stop, too.
Oh, absolutely. And that took him from the lead to 10th leaving pit road.
A lot better than letting that wheel come loose. Well, right? That's a bigger penalty. That's a heads-up veteran move. Michael Hicks has been around this block a long time. That was a good move by him. You could see just how long it took him to get that wheel tight.
And I hope the rest of these teams are watching, because that is such great insight for everybody at home and for us in the booth. To be able to have those pit crew members available to do those interviews is pretty awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate it. 112 laps to go. There's our aerial coverage looking at that big grandstand that wraps around turns 3, 4 and the start-finish line. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, which powers every mile and every moment on NASCAR's road to victory. Goodyear, more driven. The Goodyear blimp, not so high above the speedway. At one point I thought it was going to join us here at the control tower. Here's Denny Hamlin talking about restarts.
Yeah, I was a little tight center there. I try to throttle up, Chris, and I've got nothing to lean on. The bottom, I feel it bottom out a little bit and just don't have the rear grip to fire off.
And a lot of times that's just the way that those heights are set and the way that it'll sit on the limiters that NASCAR sets in the shocks. You want to run it as low as possible, and a lot of times what he's talking about could go a number of different ways, but a lot of times it's just on low air pressure that will happen.
All right, Denny Hamlin chooses the inside, Reddick outside, Byron inside. A whole lot of either or there. Now Kyle Busch brought out that caution flag, only the 4th one all day when he spun coming off turn number 2. Here's number 8.
It's back to the restarts again. Traffic. I mean, we came out of the pits on new tires the last run in clean air, so just god awful with cars.
Tough weekend. Yep. You said it. We've documented it. Hey, everybody has them.
Corey LaJoie got the free pass on that caution, so now 24 cars will restart on the lead lap with 110 to go. 2 Toyotas up front, Hamlin and Reddick. Chevy Ford second row, Byron and Blaney. Elliott Truex, Gregson Bell, Keselowski, Chastain, the top 10.
Haven't seen much of Blaney today. There he is in that second row.
He made up, what, a dozen spots on that very short run?
Sir.
Here we go. Gregson up the outside, 4 wide.
Well, we heard Denny Hamlin talk about his issues.
Whoa, and in the wall just a bit there.
It was Chase Elliott got into him a little bit, got loose, really upset his race car.
Yeah, and Chase is stuck in the middle.
Still loose. Chastain on the outside wall. That may have been hard enough to bend a toe link right there.
We saw everybody drop to the bottom to take advantage, but Chastain is not letting off the gas.
These guys are going for it. You see Christopher Bell trying to dig himself back out of that hole. Man, they're stacking up back there.
Chastain was 10th there. Looks like he's only lost 3 spots for the moment. 3 wide for 7th. Keselowski with the bottom shot. Let's see where he comes back up. Just in front or just alongside of Bell and Elliott. And around goes Logano.
All right, get it rolling straight here.
And another former champ having a bad day in Phoenix. Logano was in the free pass position. And Derek Kraus involved. And Corey LaJoie, who had just gotten the free pass. Crew Chief Paul Wolf for Logano. And there's the AMR safety team.
Well, it's been a tough day for Joey Logano. They struggled in qualifying and wound up putting themselves in the back and going a lap down. And
hearing there may have been some contact with the 42. Let's have a look.
Yeah, you see him back there. And sure enough, John Hunter Nemechek run over him from the back. Round it went, right up into the traffic of other cars. Corey LaJoie, nowhere to go, right in his lap. Unfortunate ending.
Derek Kraus likewise. Barry spins. And Zane Smith hard on the brakes, avoids serious contact as he gets into Logano.
Boom. Wow. Been a frustrating day for Joey Logano. It's going to end even more so.
my goodness.
I mean, that was a hard hit, but he got a pretty hard shot from Nemechek.
He got a hard shot from Nemechek that started all that. But those are massive shots when you're inside the car.
Joey Logano walks to the ambulance for the mandatory trip to the care center. His race is done with 106 laps to go.
Did you see that? Hear that? Feel that? Is this how you prove you earn the crown?
Winning is in his DNA.
How you shut up the haters?
I love it.
Handle the heat?
Who's going to make the move?
It's going to be a must-win. Is this a shooting star? Rock star? Superstar? Okay. Let's all take a deep breath. Because once we peel out, there's no looking back. You ready?
.104 laps to go in the Shriners Children's 500. You see the pit road is open. None of the front runners came, but a lot of mid, pack, and further back drivers have come to pit lane. Well, John Hunter Nemechek got hard into Joey Logano to turn Logano around and out of the race. Here's the 42 radio.
My bad, man. I didn't mean to get into the 22. He slowed up way early. 10-4. I got you on that.
Well, he definitely slowed up more than he did.
Yep. All three drivers out of the race. LaJoie, Kraus, and Logano. Since Logano was in the free pass position, that means no driver gets back on the lead lap. Still working on Corey LaJoie's car, or excuse me, that's Zane Smith's car. LaJoie, Logano, Kraus reported out. Josh Berry got a little piece of that, and Zane Smith right at the end. That is a slow and noisy ride back to the garage.
Yeah, definitely not the end of the day that you want to see.
Fifth caution of the day. 3-car accident there. And Tyler Reddick had taken the lead there from Denny Hamlin, with Blaney third, Byron fourth, and Truex fifth. The Mahindra tractor cam on board Chase Briscoe today. And there's Chris Buescher, the BuildSubmarines.com cam on his RFK number 17 in 16th place. Well, the point story coming out of Vegas, pretty interesting. We're paying a lot of attention to points in this early season because we see how much they matter. There are the drivers that gained spots, drivers who lost spots. One driver from each of that group out of the race. Austin Dillon was in that first wreck today. And Brad Keselowski having a good day that he needs. He's currently in 7th place.
Well, and this is behind 16th place, so Austin Dillon is definitely in a bad spot. And, you know, I think at some point they're going to have to say, hey, we're in a position where we're going to have to go for wins.
You're there.
Yeah,
by the way.
You're there. Brad Keselowski, it's kind of like last week. He didn't have a very good car last week at Las Vegas, wound up with a 13th place finish, made up some points. And if you're not in position to be the car that is fast enough to win the race, you have to pay attention to points. And really, from the beginning of the year, if you don't pay attention to points, because you don't really know if you're going to be one of the faster cars or not. So both of those guys are in different spots.
You look at our Fox Race Tracker up here in the upper left of the screen, and you see all of those yellow lines right there in stage 3. We've had a rash of caution flags. Let's blow it up for you here at the top. We had only one caution for cause back at lap number 6. Then the stage breaks, and now a bit of yellow fever.
Well, it all compresses. They all know it. We can't get any of these passes made on these long green flag stops. We're having trouble in the pits. We're frustrated. Everything's catching up. These restarts, they breed more restarts.
And you got to go. No matter what just happened, you have to be aggressive, and you have to push, and you have to shove, and you have to dive to the bottom, go to the middle, and try at the top. Whatever lane is open, you got to try to go and make some spots up on the restart while you can.
And if you don't have a lane, make one.
Make one.
All right, here's some Tyler Reddick radio.
A few takers. We are about 5-6 laps outside of the window to make it to the end of the race. So even if those guys stretch it, they got to save fuel. I would imagine any more yellows after these restarts, then we'll all come. Reset. Copy that.
Yeah, all those guys that just pitted, I've been listening to their radios. They've been on them about saving fuel till we go back racing. So those that just pitted can make it.
A little bit of strategy to keep an eye on.
Save, heck, I want to pass somebody.
Well, they're going to right here.
See Martin Truex up on the outside. He's got a great run down the back straightaway. And that's what happens on these restarts. You have a lane that just opens up, and all of a sudden you're passing 2, 3, 4 cars, and that's what happened to Martin Truex right there. The lane opened up, and he took advantage of it. Now he's racing for the lead. We see a little contact.
That 19 car is really taking off well. What a battle for the lead.
And that's what we talked about earlier, Clint, was just finding a lane that worked for you. And apparently that's where his car likes to be in turns 1 and 2 for sure.
Well, he knows. You have to pounce on it. Kevin, you just said these restarts, it's time to go.
Blaney right in the middle of that swarm. 9th place.
And there's we got one around.
Denny Hamlin.
Single car spin. Nobody gets into him, but yellow fever continues at lap 215. Racing for the lead. Denny Hamlin goes around.
All of our action today has been in turns 1 and 2. And this is going to put pretty much everybody right inside that pit window.
Wow, that was a pass for the lead.
So the other thing that this probably does, guys, is those guys that just pitted. Let's see what happened.
See Denny Hamlin on the bottom of the racetrack getting into turn 1. You see, gets a little bit loose, comes up the racetrack, had to catch it, getting to the door of Reddick, and away it came. Round it came. Wow, did not see that coming.
Boy, that could have been big. Brad Keselowski was almost right on him.
So if those guys were, as we look at this one more time, those guys that just pitted, if they were close on fuel and felt like they were in a position to make it to the end, now you're gonna have all these guys up front that have to pit, and it's gonna flop the field, Clint.
100%.
Well, Kyle Busch's luck finally changed. He is the free pass.
Well,
he'll be back on the lead lap. Here's Ryan Blaney's view. So, Larry, I guess you got a decision to make with all these caution laps. You're saving fuel. You're going to save all you want, but you want tires or track position?
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at the numbers. Everybody up front pitted with 113 laps to go, but we've run about 15 caution laps since they pitted. It's right there on the threshold to be able to make it, but maybe they want those 4 fresh tires as well. But you're right, a lot of them's going to stay out, including Kyle Larson, who pitted 2 cautions ago.
All those cars that are pitted that last time made it right in their lap.
Jamie.
Ryan Blaney 2 restarts ago made big gains, and then on this last restart he went backwards. You see him here taking tires. That chassis adjustment, he needed a little bit more, Regan.
45 to Tyler Reddick. It was a quick decision for crew chief Billy Scott to pit right here. They were inside their window. He's been quiet about the car on the radio as of lately. He likes where it's at. And the 24 of William Byron, too tight, firing off, struggling to get that car to go early on in runs.
Brad Keselowski may have got 2 tires. He was not in the pits very long as he comes out with a bunch of them off pit road. Hold station there. Gibbs up 5, Wallace up 2, Suarez up 7, and Larson. And Hamlin rejoins the fray. Denny Hamlin racing for the lead. Spins in Phoenix.
I love your dress.
Oh, thanks. I splurged a little because Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance and I saved hundreds.
That's great.
I know, right? I've been telling everyone.
Liberty.
Did you hear that? I just said her first word. Can you say mama?
Liberty. Can you say auntie?
Liberty.
How many people did you tell?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Liberty.
The Busch Guide, cold and smooth survival skills.
Hello? Should you become stranded, be ready to signal rescuers.
Busch.
How long have I been out here? About 12 minutes.
Head for the mountains.
Did you see that? Hear that? Feel that? Is this how you prove you earn the crown?
Winning is in his DNA.
How you shut up the haters?
I love it.
Handle the heat?
Who's going to make the move?
It's gonna be a must-win.
Is this a shooting star? Rock star? Superstar? Okay. Let's all take a deep breath. Because once we peel out, there's no looking back. You ready?
Animal Control is back.
Sir, you can't park that here. We're with the city, Fashion Police. We got a call regarding your pants.
With horses, chickens, and this little guy.
I need you to take a step back. I can feel your breath on my nipples.
All new Animal Control, this Wednesday on Fox.
Brace for impact as the baddest superstars on the planet are unleashed in prime time. Listen to this place. All new Friday Night SmackDown at 8/7 Central on Fox.
Martinsville isn't your average everyday racetrack. It's truly one of a kind. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
Getting ready for the restart, Martin Truex Jr. is the race leader. He's not been in the pits since lap 190. Ryan Preece also stayed out. He was in the pits at lap 199. The next 7 cars pitted at lap 209, and from 10th on back just came in. Jamie?
Well, James Small, the crew chief, Martin Truex Jr. back and forth and said, what do you want to do? Truex didn't want to give up track position. He said, well, we could stay out and bank on another caution, and that's what they did.
All right, let's see. Green flag. Truex with Gilliland in tow. Tyler Reddick back at 16th and Christopher Bell back at 19th after pit stops. Bell way on the bottom, gains no ground there.
And those guys that got flipped, that had the pit right there, they're going to have some super aggressive restarts and make up some ground really quick in order to make up the ground that they need by the end of the race.
Denny Hamlin restarted 23rd. He's gained 3 spots. Wide in contact. And into the fence goes Eric Jones.
Still green here. The Bubba Wallace got loose. Had to run it up the racetrack right into the side of Eric Jones, running right on the wall.
Jones was 8th. He's now 24th.
The fight is on, Kevin.
Well, Tyler Reddick's done a pretty good job of putting himself in position. He had some really, he had a good couple of laps right there, made up a whole bunch of ground. He's already 12th.
Truex and Preece have gotten away from the field. Gibbs, Chastain under fire from Gilliland and McDowell. Ty Gibbs was 10th at the restart. He took 2 tires and he's up to 3rd.
Yeah, the tires matter here, and we haven't seen anybody really do 2 tires today, but Ty Gibbs obviously got to the front of the guys that pitted, got the fuel that he needed in the car, and having those cooler, fresher tires definitely makes a difference on these restarts until it starts to even out.
Well, lost some of that track position. How do you get it back? You need an opportunity. That opportunity came with with those cautions. Flip-flopped them. Away we go. Here's our track position back.
Reddick and Bell are now together on the racetrack, 12th and 13th. Trying to fight their way back to the front.
I still like Truex's decision to stay out, keep that track position. Keep the fenders on this thing. Let them come get us. Let's not beat ourselves.
The only flip side to that is it doesn't make more gas. And if this thing runs green, it has a tendency to run green. And if it doesn't go green, he's going to have to figure out how to save some gas at some point.
All right, we listened in on Denny Hamlin and company.
Everyone should be able to make it. It'll be tight, but everyone should be able to make it. And we're going to learn how to pass some cars in Phoenix. Do not be frustrated. We've had a great weekend. Let's rebound, have a good finish here.
Good coaching. Chris Gabehart coaching up his driver. You know he's frustrated. You know he's bummed out. Keep the eye on the ball.
Hamlin plus 7 spots since the restart as he gets by Ricky Stenhouse.
And Denny Hamlin's in the seat right now. He's frustrated, knows that he made a mistake right there and did everything that they needed to do all weekend, and now he's going to drive extra hard to try to put themselves back in a position to have a decent day.
Reddick got right up behind Daniel Suarez, who took the air off his nose, and that thwarted the progress of the 45. So Reddick mired here at 14th with Larson and Hamlin closing on him.
The guy who didn't get held up was Christopher Bell. He went by Tyler Reddick. So
Tyler Reddick is not making the ground up that I thought he would, and what I think he needs.
It's a whole different ball game back there when you have to race in the middle of this pack and your car acts different. It moves around funny, and it just takes time to get back through the pack when you have a fast car. And when they're all bunched together like that, everybody has a shot because you're just looking for a lane that is open. And if your lane is not open, it doesn't matter how good your car is handling. It's going to have some handling issues.
That's a good point, Kevin. You work so hard all race long. You get that clean air, and if the old hot rod's handling like this, you're adjusting on it to handle those clean air conditions. Now you get mired back here in traffic, the thing is completely different.
Christopher Bell, if he can complete this pass on Noah Gragson, he'll be up 10 positions since the restart and into the top 10. But Gragson is not going away.
Yeah, and Christopher Bell kind of gave him a little door slap right there. So I'm not happy with that, bud.
Now, of the drivers that came in at lap 217, Ty Gibbs is 3rd, Brad Keselowski 7th with 2 tires. Christopher Bell is the first of the cars that took 4 tires at 10th place. Bell trying to complete that pass on Noah Gragson, who just will not go away. Wow, what a race he's having. What a start to the season Gragson is having. And Bell finally gets that done.
Well,
and Gragson comes right back.
He's going to be frustrated with that.
Hey, it's fast car. Gregson's teammate Briscoe just ahead. 9th place.
This is the crazy part about NASCAR racing. You just never know when these strategies, and right now we're looking at a 10-lap difference of just one pit decision to say, okay, let's just stay out and wait for the next caution. And that bit half the field almost.
Well, look at Reddick. I mean, everything's easy peasy. What can take us out of this thing? Where is this left hook coming from? Boom, 2 cautions in a row, flip-flop the field. Oh my gosh, what has happened?
And when you're at the back of the pack or in the middle of the pack, it's no problem to make those strategy calls. You just want to do what the leader is not doing. It's harder to be the leader than it is anything else, because everybody in the middle of the pack is just going to do the opposite of what you do. So when you get in those strategy call situations, like, all right, well, let's pit. They didn't pit. And then the next thing you know, it flips your way.
There's the fight for 14th. Blaney, Larson, and Hamlin. Meanwhile, Ty Gibbs is catching Ryan Preece for 2nd place. Here's that battle.
Regis has been the long run. We got to make the long run better here. We've been bad after 20, so you got to work on that for me. You're going to catch the leaders. That's not a problem. Yeah.
And how about Martin Truex? The decision to stay out at lap 217 when most of the leaders pitted. Could that be a winning strategy?
Just feels like it's knocking the pads back. You know, the pedal's so long when it gets to the corner. Okay, copy here. Still maintaining your gap here. Probably, hopefully just a little pad build up for those refires.
Well, that's a couple things. The pad buildup, and as those pads get the buildup on the rotors, they start to vibrate, and then it knocks the pads back. And so what he's talking about is when he goes to push on the pedal, it goes further than what he's used to it, and he has to push the pedal down further to make the brake pads engage. So pretty typical problem here at Phoenix.
Usually it becomes when you're out front like this, you're using less brakes. Doesn't get that temperature in them.
Here's the Kubota Cam on board Ross Chastain, 4th. Ross trying to make some inroads on Ty Gibbs up there close to Ryan Preece in 3rd. He's about 1.3 seconds back. A lot of racing left to go in the Arizona desert. 75 laps. Martin Truex did not pit. He's in front of Ryan Preece by 2 seconds.
You give, and you give. This tax season you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get unlimited data. You get America's most reliable 5G network. You get a Samsung Galaxy A15 for only $99, so you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah! Good talk.
Turn your tax refund into a U-Fund. Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com.
The 3 for Me only at Chili's serves up more deliciousness for just $10.99 than you'll find anywhere else. I mean, have y'all seen those fast food prices lately? It's like even they want you to come to Chili's. This Chili's 3 for Me is the best $10.99 you can eat.
When I was your age, we never had anything like this.
What, Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi that works all over the house, even the basement.
The basement, so I can finally throw that party and invite Shannon Barnes.
Dreams do come true. Xfinity gives you reliable Wi-Fi with wall-to-wall coverage on all your devices, even when everyone is online.
Maybe we'll even get married one day.
I wonder what I'll be doing.
Probably still living here with Mom and Dad.
Fast, reliable speeds right where you need them. That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi on the Xfinity 10G network.
Your pride and joy is measured in acres. Keep them looking their best with versatile utility vehicles, professional-grade mowers, and the #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience.
Celebrate and save at Ashley's Anniversary Sale with Hot Buys, your choice of colors starting at just $3.99. Or shop new looks for less with 0% interest until March 2029 on in-store purchases. Celebrate and save today, only at Ashley.
A new era of spring football kicks off. March 30th, the USFL champs versus the XFL champs. The heavyweight matchup that the fans deserve. Spring just got stronger. UFL kickoff weekend begins Saturday, March 30th at 1 on Fox and continues Sunday on ESPN.
This is the make or break moment. The chance to carve your name into the history books. This is the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
Quite a battle shaping up with 69 to go. You're watching Ryan Preece to the outside of Ty Gibbs. This is the race for second place, 3 seconds behind leader Martin Truex Jr. Gibbs got alongside, couldn't complete the pass on that Ford.
Yeah, Martin Truex Jr. has just checked out, and these two guys have been going at it for second place.
Jamie, how about the fuel situation for our leader?
So, Mike, I just checked in with the team. This is what they told me. We are not concerned about fuel right now. We are concerned about our tires and being at a disadvantage to those behind us. They said we will have to pit for tires before we have to pit for fuel.
Wow. Toyota got its first pole of the season today and first 2 stage wins of the season today. Laps led, only 74 total in the first 3 races, and they have dominated here in the Arizona desert.
Well, we knew that the Toyotas were fast, and all weekend, really, they fired off the truck and qualified good and practiced good and did everything good. Look at the left rear tire on that Ryan Preece car.
Yeah, very low air pressure. It's almost wrinkled up, getting under.
Looked like a drag tire.
The corner, under braking. You can see the torque in that tire sidewall.
And that tire has now been on there for 47 laps. So it's not like it's waiting to build air pressure. Second place to Gibbs, who started this race from the front row and led 57 laps in the early going. Regan?
Mike, the 41er, Ryan Preece having a nice run right now up there in third place. They've been fighting that car all day long, tight with the nose. Finally started making gains on it during stage 2. He felt good about it, good enough that they could try a little strategy play here, but I just checked with crew chief Chad Johnson. He gave me a hand signal of 5 that they are 5 laps short.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I think I honestly think that that's where the 19 is too. I think he might have an advantage to be able to go out there, and here we get a good shot of the left rear tire. Wow. You want to run the tires as low as you can get them.
You see it on the bottom, but you can see that sidewall wrinkled up all the way up the wheel.
Great shot.
So the cars that are in jeopardy, there are just 2 of them really. Truex, who pitted at lap 190, and Preece, who pitted at 199. Everyone else has been to pit road either 10 laps or 18 laps after that. Ross Chastain 4th. Trying to gain a little ground here.
The leader's the 19. He cannot make it on fuel. 41 is close, but it's a stretch. The 54 in front of you is on the, probably can make it on gas, but he goes on a long run. You in the 17 can make it. If you're struggling with loose, you could try leaving it 5th. That'd help us on gas too.
Larry, I'm hearing a lot of probablys. What do you think about the fuel situation?
Well, I want to follow up on Jamie Little's report on Martin Truex Jr. and what James Small told her. Yeah, I think on fuel, it's close, but the longest he's run on a set of tires is 47 laps. That's when we went back racing. We made those green flag pit stops in stage 2. They're asking this car to do double that on tires. Evidently, James Small saw something in those tires earlier that says, I can't double the laps on these tires.
The only one that we've seen go long was Todd Gilliland in the 38 car. He definitely stayed way out, and actually it
ran
worked
the whole
for
run.
them. Yeah.
Christopher Bell passed Chris Buescher. That is 5th place. Bell restarted 20th Buescher restarted 4th. Jamie now 6th.
Yeah, Chris Buescher having a really good day after that disaster last week at Las Vegas. They lost that wheel. They kept the team here. They are appealing the penalty, but they've been just working in the right direction. It's part of the test here last year at the end of the season. They found some things, but they really didn't see a whole lot of differences with this new rules package. And he's having a great run, just like he did in November, Mike.
Here's Ross Chastain against Ryan Preece for 3rd place.
Both of those RFK cars in the top 10. Good run for them. Needed a turnaround, especially with Keselowski.
Bell drops to the bottom. Trying to gain 4th place here, and does.
Christopher Bell's car is so strong. I know they've had trouble on pit road, but his car is so strong. You know, he's gonna get by. Obviously, just got by Ryan Preece. He's gonna get by Ross Chastain here. And we hear everybody. We heard the radio transmission talking about the 54 car falling off, and that if that's the case on 2 tires, it's probably going to fall off quicker.
I agree with you. If anybody can run down Truex, your leader, it's Christopher Bell. You see picking off another one, Ross Chastain easily rolled right around him on the outside. I'm watching his entrance speed, Kevin, and he just rolls in and to the center so much faster than everybody else, in particular into turn 3 right here.
He has gained 17 positions since the restart.
Those Gibbs cars for a number of years have just been really good under braking at the short tracks, and especially here at Phoenix. And we talked about it earlier in the race of the difference in the brake pads. They were really some of the first ones to figure out all the braking and spend a lot of time on brake pads and master cylinders and getting that brake package right, and they have dialed that in with geometry on the old car. And with this car, they seem to be able to do the same thing, and the corner is really strong.
Those Fords right now running 5th through 10th.
Well, there you have it. Truex 06, Gibbs a 23, and him a 28.87. Christopher Bell flying out here.
But we see 56 laps to go, and I know that doesn't seem like a long time, but it is in a car, it feels like forever here because of the 1 mile distance and all that you're doing in the car and the way that the car falls off and slides around. It's a heavy workload for the drivers.
Another 10th knocked out of the lead for Christopher Bell.
Yeah, Christopher Bell is definitely going to get to Ty Gibbs, no problem. On board with Austin Dillon as Martin Truex goes by.
Christopher Bell coming to Ty Gibbs. This is for 2nd place, and it's all happening about 5 seconds behind the leader.
The one advantage that Martin Truex will have being, as we on board with Eric Jones's Toyota Camry, as Martin Truex goes by to lap him, he had some trouble getting put up in the wall on one of the restarts and just hasn't recovered. They had a great weekend. Bad moment for him, but Eric Jones and those guys had a lot of speed this weekend.
53 to go. Martin Truex 5 seconds up on Gibbs and Bell. Can he hold the lead to the finish? Let's go Fox side by side.
This season, Toyota Racing is looking for jaw droppers.
Break for Martin Truex right there, the fastest lap of the day.
Iron stomachs that can stand the pressure. And quick draw thumbs that leave their own smoke trail. So hold on tight and strap yourself in. This season, we want you. Join us at Toyota Racing.
So, what'd you get?
2 Nashville hot tenders and 3 Mandarin orange tenders.
Nice. What about you?
3 classic tenders.
4 big butterfly shrimp. 4 of a kind. I win. Ha.
Oh, okay. Is it always a competition?
I am the shrimp bot.
All the parts you need at the prices you want. Guaranteed to fit every time. So you can keep your ride or die alive.
here, Nick.
Who shocked America in the season premiere?
Kevin Hart!
The Masked Mania surprises continue Fox Wednesday.
We're headed to Emerald City.
4 new masked celebrities compete to see the wizard.
This is the great and powerful Oz.
What's going on?
The great Oz has spoken.
All new Masked Singer, Wednesday at 8/7 Central on Fox.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Everywhere but the seat. The seat is leather.
Alan, we get it. You love your bike. We do too.
That's why we're America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
But do you have to wedge it into everything?
What? I don't do that. This reminds me of my bike. The wolf was about the size of my new motorcycle. Have you seen it, by the way? Happy birthday, Grandma!
Really?
Look how the brushstrokes follow the line on the gas tank.
Hey!
Brought my +1. Jamie.
It's the fastest, most unpredictable speedway on earth.
The big one is back. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
They've been flying over and around Phoenix Raceway today. 47 laps to go. Martin Truex Jr. holds a 4.6-second lead over Christopher Bell, who has been a 1/10 of a second faster a lap than Truex. He was 5.1 back when he got to second place. Now he's 4.4 back. And if he continues on this pace, they'll be right together at the finish. However, as Larry Mack has pointed out, tires are the question for the race leader. Can he go the distance on what he has? You saw tires there atop the pit wall and at the ready as Christopher Bell continues to close, and Ty Gibbs holds on to third.
Yeah, you're racing the 20 now straight up, the 20 on you. So you both can make it, so you're racing for the win here. Assuming it goes green.
Well, there it is. That's a teammate of Truex Jr. saying he cannot make it. You saw the tires ready on the wall. I think James Small may have been fibbing a little bit there, Kevin.
He can't lie to us.
The only other car that stayed out on both the 2 most recent cautions, Ryan Preece, is currently 7th, holding his own. He was last on pit road lap 199. Tires are ready if you need them.
The thing that I have liked about Martin's car this run, obviously Christopher Bell has been the fastest car and has had the fastest car, but the thing about Martin's car is he's run some really good lap times. Let's hear what Martin has to say.
How are we doing against some others in the pit? If they were to go all the way through, cycle through, probably around P5 or so. Only thing even close pace-wise here right now is still Christopher, and you still got 5 seconds.
Yeah, and that's the thing I was talking about, is how impressive that to stay out on those. I know they weren't a lot of laps on the tires, but they still had the new knocked off of them, and to be able to run like he has tells you how fast his car is.
Well, also those tires had 2 more heat cycles on them than the drivers who just stopped. 2 more restarts, build up to temperature, tires cool back down under caution. So they're not going to be as good as the drivers that stopped at lap 217, whether they took on 2 tires or 4. 12th place, Blaney and Gregson. Let's keep a close eye on Truex here. 41 laps to go. Jamie.
Martin Truex Jr., you see him there. He gives up the lead like 55 laps. They just couldn't make it any farther on these older tires. His pit crew is ready. It'll be 4 tires and enough fuel to get them through this stop if they can hit their marks and salvage some positions at this point, Mike.
Looked a little slow on the right rear.
Well, it won't matter with everybody else staying out.
Damage is done. Just didn't work out for him.
And Christopher Bell now leads Ty Gibbs by 2.2 seconds. Ross Chastain by 4.
Did a good job getting up through that traffic on a restart. Right, Kevin? I mean, Christopher Bell, we documented Reddick. We knew he was going to be one, too, and he just got stuck back there mired in traffic, probably built a lot of temperature in his tires and brake temperature and everything else, and it's just kind of stuck right there in that, I mean, you can see he just moved up one more spot in 8th, but that 10th place land never really prevailed.
Buescher and Chastain, this is for third, 4.5 seconds off the lead. "38 laps to go in Phoenix." Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, powering the race from green to checkered flag and every mile in between. Goodyear, more driven. 22 cars on the lead lap. Truex went a lap down with that pit stop. Eric Jones has just been to pit road. And Ryan Preece has also stopped for what should be the final time today. And he'll go a lap down. So Christopher Bell with a 3-second lead. Let's go under the helmet with Christopher.
I'm from Norman, Oklahoma. The first race I won, I was 6 years old, driving a micro sprint at I-44 Speedway in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. My favorite win of my NASCAR career would be the 2022 Charlotte Roval. A racetrack that I really want to win at is Dover. I want to take home miles.
Christopher Bell's a great kid. Raced a lot, has an extensive dirt background. Very successful on the dirt side, has been very successful here. And you've talked, Clint, like he was going to be the leader of Joe Gibbs Racing in the performance side of things, and he has definitely been the leader since they unloaded this weekend. I think his teammates have also run really well, but I think we felt like he had the best car as he unloaded off the truck.
Well, you said it. He just slowly but surely keeps getting better, keeps fine-tuning things, and I think, you know, previewing the year, I said I think this is a breakout year for Christopher Bell, and obviously he's proven that correct. But I think that was an easy pick.
Chase Briscoe trying to hold back Tyler Reddick. That is back at 7th place. Let's check with Regan.
Well, Michael McDowell having a very nice day in 6th place right now. Latest report from the driver, just a little bit too tight through the center at 3 and 4. But how nice would it be for him to finish off this good run right now? This is his home racetrack. He's got a crowd of more than 20 people here, friends, family, all kinds of people here supporting him today right now.
McDowell grew up in Glendale, within sight of the speedway here. Had a road race career, thought for a while maybe be headed for Indy, and well, NASCAR came calling. So Larry, if we think Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs can make it on fuel and tires, every driver 3rd through 7th has an average running position out of the top 10 and varying strategies among that whole group. Where do they stand?
Yeah, Mike, the two I'm watching right now is Chris Buescher in the 17, who's in 3rd, and Ross Chastain in the 1 car, who's in 4th. They pitted at lap 209. That's 103 laps to go, but they've run 9 cautions. Scott Graves, Chris Buescher crew chief, he knows they're 6 seconds out of the lead right now. He's telling him to be easy on the throttle getting in the corner, easy on the throttle getting off, save a little bit of fuel here as we've got 31 laps to go.
Brad Keselowski looking at I'm really impressed with these RFK cars. You're obviously riding along with Chris Buescher, but you see Keselowski on the inside of Chastain. Big turnaround for him this weekend. Needed a good run.
Let's hear from Chris Buescher's team, sitting in 3rd. All right, here we go. Team 17.
a test lap on fuel. Same as here. Early lift into 1, early lift into 3, to get back to 100% at the strike. All right, back to 100%. We give you an update shortly.
Yeah, that'll be fine. We may need 4 or 5 laps of that at the end of the race, but that'll get us.
Just a little, right? Not much.
Well, a lot of times what you'll do is you'll go full throttle in the corner like you normally would to gain the corner speed, and as soon as you get to the exit, you'll actually lift out of the throttle to 75 or 80% to be able to just save a little bit of throttle down the straightaway, and you won't lose a lot of lap time. So a lot of different styles and strategies to save fuel, but that was what I would use. I would just drive it into the corner, 75, 80% throttle, and then try to use normal throttle through the corner.
A lot of times you'll find you pick up speed too.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm going slower. Well, back up, go slower again, because there's faster lap times. Tell me to save fuel and you're going faster. Which one is it?
28 laps to go, Larry. What are the trends?
Well, Mike, we're thinking about who can make it, who not can make it, but the old trend may kick in here, because if you look at the last 4 Phoenix races with the Gen 7 car the last 2 years, the average of the last caution is lap 290, 22 laps to go, which is about 5 laps from now. We've had 1 overtime finish, but this number blew my mind, Mike. Phoenix all-time has 10 overtime finishes. That's third only behind Daytona and Talladega, our 2 super speedways.
Wow, didn't expect that.
Well, I know all about that stat, Larry. Last year we were absolutely annihilating them here in this spring race at Phoenix, and the caution came out. We went from thinking we were going to win to, I don't even know where we finished, not first.
You got a top 5 because you kept that top 10 streak alive.
Well, it was okay, but we didn't win. We wanted to win. And that's what you're hoping. Right now, if you're Christopher Bell, you don't even want to hear that stat. You don't want to know anything about it. You don't want to think about cautions. You want to be able to run this thing green, because you're in a position to just go out there and bang out just some consistent laps and not have to worry about anybody behind you, because you've got a good car and you put yourself in position to be where you are. But if you get on the restarts, you're just vulnerable, because everybody has a chance at that particular point. And from a strategy, just from everything that can happen going into turn 1 with all the restart stuff. So Christopher Bell does not want to see a restart. On board with Alex Bowman and the Ally camera. Christopher's had Alex Bowman has had a kind of a mediocre day.
I want to for a moment go back to lap 205 and the Nemechek-Logano incident, in which John Hunter Nemechek said, "I didn't mean to hit him, he braked early." Here is Joey Logano's comment after leaving the care center.
I didn't slow that. No, I drove in the. You got to lift to make the corners, Bob. You know, you can't hold it wide open around Phoenix, and maybe he should take a look and realize he can't do that too. He drove straight in the back of me, and needs to be man enough to own up to that.
So not a happy ending for Joey Logano, who will finish 34th today, out of the race at lap 205. John Hunter Nemechek continues, and he is 26th, 1 lap down.
Well, and that was definitely one of those situations that just was it definitely misjudged or whatever happened, but he definitely got into the back of the Joey Logano pretty hard and turned him around.
Thanks to Bob Pockrass for getting that sound with Logano. Christopher Bell's lead is increasing microscopically, couple of hundredths every lap here over Ty Gibbs, with Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, all 3 makes represented in the top 5. 21 to go.
Well, you just said all 3 manufacturers, but the one thing, these Toyotas, they came into this race weekend, Kevin, no stage wins, no poles, no wins. They've checked the pole off, checked stage wins. Can we get this win done? And 7, by the way, in the last 7 races, has never had a duplicate winner. This could be another 8th.
Well, Denny Hamlin is going to leave here wondering what might have been. Hamlin spun by himself to bring out the most recent caution at lap 215. He restarted 23rd, last car on the lead lap, and he's now knocking on the door of the top 10.
Well, he can leave here knowing that he had one of the fastest cars here today, and you heard Chris Gabehart tell him that on the radio to try to make that feel better, but it's not going to make him feel any better because he knows he had one of the fastest cars here today and made a mistake, and it got out from underneath him and he spun around. So
a good run here for Noah Gragson in that you can't miss it car.
Again.
What a paint job.
Yeah.
Yep. Or wrap job, I guess we say now. Tyler Reddick also 7th now. Restarted 15th. Car kind of stalled out for about 10 to 15 laps as Reddick tried to work his way back to the front.
Just couldn't make a go out of it. Meyer back in there traffic on that restart, and Bell got up through him faster than he did. Really stalled out.
Chris Buescher carrying the Ford banner in 3rd. Keselowski, McDowell, Blaney, Briscoe, Gragson all in the top 10 right now.
And that really happened when this race flipped. For Chase Briscoe and a lot of these Fords, they were backside of the top 10 or outside of the top 10, and they pitted, were able to stay out on that strategy and turn their whole race around. But that's part of it. That's what happens sometimes.
That caution couldn't have come out at a worse spot.
I mean, think about Hendrick Motorsports. You look at Byron, you look at Elliott that was running up front the whole time.
Yeah, Larson in 13th. The rest of the Hendrick cars 18th through 20th. Not a great day for Chevrolet, but it's their first not so great day of the season. They've won the first 3 races. Right now they have only Ross Chastain in the top 10. Here's a look at their hot start to the season. Winning 2 of the first 3, including the Daytona 500. And leading the league in stages and laps led coming in here.
I feel like without that strategy of flip-flopping, though, they were still going to go home with probably 2 cars inside that top 5. Both William Byron and Chase Elliott would step around the top 5 all day long. But it didn't, right? It didn't.
No, and the only Chevrolet up there right now is Ross Chastain.
The benefactors were definitely Keselowski and company. He has done a great job.
Now watch this 71 here, Zane Smith. He's going to be quick here because he just pitted for fresh tires just 6 laps ago. That's why he has speed on Chastain, who is the 4th place car. Zane Smith is 3 laps down.
That caution was just what the doctor ordered for RFK. Both of them, Keselowski and Buescher in those Mustangs. Big weekend turnaround for them.
3rd and 5th right now. Racing with Ryan Preece, who is 1 down. He came and got tires at lap 274.
Here we go. This is for position right here as we see Brad Keselowski dive under Ross Chastain, but the right side's on that yellow line.
Whoa!
Slide right in front of Ross.
Now that was a slide job. That was a good old-fashioned slide job. I think it's going to pay off for him, and actually Preece helped him there. Chastain let him go.
Yeah, Preece has fresher tires than they do, so he may be able to get away from them here. We'll see.
Yeah, Brad's come on pretty good here at the end of this run compared to Ross, and able to pick up 1 more spot here at the end of this thing.
Second place is heated up. Chris Buescher.
Well, we heard the radio transmission earlier talking about how Ty Gibbs's car fell off, and it has definitely fallen off. It's fallen off a fair amount here as we've gotten towards the end of this run, and Chris Buescher's car has a lot like Brad's just kept going.
Last lap, Buescher 0.4 of a second faster than Gibbs, and he takes second place. Coach Gibbs looking on. His grandson in 3rd place here, and one of his 4 cars on point with 10 to go.
Okay, Kevin, you got a huge lead like this for Christopher Bell. Now it's inside 10 to go. With 20, 30 laps to go, you're not really thinking about it. Now you're like, all right, no caution.
Yes.
No caution. Come on, guys.
Yeah, and right now for Christopher Bell, he just wants to hit his marks and keep keep the car up on the racetrack. No reason to cut the apron or take any chances with those tires. Just keep the car doing what you've been doing the last several laps. Stay in your rhythm and don't take any chances. You've got a huge lead.
And Bell still one of the fastest 2 or 3 cars on the racetrack. His wife looking on. Last year in November, Bell came here to win a championship, but he lost a brake rotor on lap 109 that put him into the wall and out of it. No such misfortune today. He has led 42 laps so far with 8 to go.
And it hasn't come easy. He's had some adversity as well, right? They're bounced back several times. Had that wheel issue on the right rear that we documented earlier. Definitely had their fair share of adversity.
On board with Chase Briscoe here, racing Tyler Reddick.
And looks like Reddick's going to get at least one more spot before this one's done. Three Toyotas, 5 Fords, and Ross Chastain's Chevy in the top 10.
As good as that car was on the long run earlier of Tyler Reddick's, Clint, you know, we saw him switch around and take off early that one run with Denny Hamlin and take the lead. Ever since then, the long run stuff hasn't been what it was early in the race.
He's been doing some big slide jobs. Here's another one right in front of Briscoe. These guys are going at it.
These guys think they're racing on dirt.
Well, 5 to go. Big position there.
Yeah, we make so much to do about the points, but every spot matters because you just don't know what this will come down to at the end of the season.
If these two keep fooling around, Noah Gregson's going to be right there on them in that battle for 8. I say fooling around, swapping position back and forth. Only benefits Gregson and Denny Hamlin. That's quite a cluster back there.
To your
at
point,
8th
though,
place.
Slowed him down a half a second, as a matter of fact.
Martin Truex right there. Now, remember, he got fresh tires at lap 272. He should blast right on by these guys and up into 8th place.
That's pretty impressive. And that shows you how much those tires are worth. I just want to say something about Christopher Bell and just his I've heard several interviews out of him and his confidence in the way that he speaks and the way that he wants to be the leader and confident in his abilities to go out and do what he's doing. And I think the best way to do that is to go out and show everybody. This has been a strong weekend for him. We've seen him really at the fall race as well have a strong weekend and a chance to win the championship and had some trouble, but their car was fast that weekend.
You're right. Does his talking on the racetrack. Always has.
Looking for his 7th career victory. He last won at Homestead, Miami.
It's a big lap right here. He wants to get around here and see that white flag. Come on, baby. That's what he's saying inside that car.
White flag this time. Good place to ride there.
Traffic ahead. White flag. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
His center corner speed has just been lights out. He was here at the test, put in the time, worked hard, and it's paying off.
And his car can go anywhere on the racetrack, which has made him very versatile and be able to get through traffic well.
Preparation's key, and those guys certainly have checked that box here this weekend.
This will be his 4th consecutive season with a victory in the NASCAR Cup Series. Christopher Bell off the final corner, and he wins in Phoenix.
Excellent job, Adam. White Knight Willie, everyone on this 20 car, thank you guys. Excellent, excellent car.
The Shriners Children's 500 to Christopher Bell, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Toyota. 7th career win in his 148th race. And they've all come on different racetracks.
Wow. Well, Christopher has proven to be a very versatile driver. I know he talked about his favorite win being at the Roval and today in Phoenix, and see a very happy team right there.
Coach Gibbs leads the team prayer. Chris Buescher finishes second, 5.5 seconds back. Buescher won 2 of the last 7 short track races in the series, including Bristol in September of 22, and we go to Bristol next week. But quite a battle right at the finish. Blaney Chastain, look at this for 5th.
He drove it off in there, put the pressure on him, didn't he? I think Blaney thought he was going to do a slide job, stayed on the bottom. Great finish for 5th right there. Blaney got him.
Blaney by 8/100ths of a second takes that 5th place. 11 different drivers have gone to NASCAR Cup victory lane for Joe Gibbs. 209 career wins. Their first, Toyota's first of the season. Chevrolet had won all 3 coming in here. They have 8 wins at Phoenix Raceway, 6 different drivers.
It's a good feeling, Clint.
The best. There's nothing better than winning these races. Nothing better than climbing on top of that race car and seeing that wall of fans.
Here's Regan.
Well, Christopher Bell, an absolutely dominant performance at the end of this race, but it didn't come without some adversity. You had to overcome a pit stop, and you came from 20th on that last restart to get up to the front. How does this one feel?
Oh, man, this one feels really good, and just a credit to Adam, man. Adam, White Knight, William, my engineers, my crew chief, and all the mechanics on this thing. You don't get cars like that very often, as you know, so just super, super proud to be on this 20 car. You know, this Rheem Camry was amazing today, and I feel like we have capability of running races like this a lot. So hopefully this is the first of many this year.
Christopher Bell wins at Phoenix.
Chris Buescher, we're talking to him. What a bounce back from a week ago at Las Vegas. You end up second here. How good does that feel for you and this whole team?
That's huge. We talked a lot internally. I mean, we've been able to lead race at any point in all 3 races leading up to this, and we didn't quite get there today, but certainly a great finish for our BuildSubs.com Ford Mustang. Really proud of everybody. This is this is a good triumph. You know, I know we had a rough go last week, and this was good to get everybody back together, prove that we're in this together, that we're gonna win and lose these things as a team. But that was almost a win today. We were close in a way, but like we were just talking, I couldn't even see the 20s. So you know, that was gonna be a tough one to battle for a win. But really impressed with everybody today. They did a heck of a job and worked hard to get back up where we needed to be there at the end. Was able to save just enough fuel to be able to go 100% there at the end, and at least get one more spot and get the second. So really proud with that.
Thanks, Chris. Well done.
Thank you.
Christopher Bell beats Chris Buescher by 5.5 seconds. Toyota versus Ford. Ty Gibbs 3rd. Brad Keselowski 4th. Ryan Blaney completes the top 5. Christopher Bell, the winner in the Arizona Desert. We'll hear from the Charlotte studio right after this.
Domination. That's exactly what we saw out in Phoenix today. We had 6 leaders, 5 of them drove for Toyota. They led all but 14 laps. In the end, it was Christopher Bell leading 50 of those laps, including the last one, to win the race. His 7th career win, his first at Phoenix, and as I just mentioned, 50 laps led. What a great day it was for the entire Toyota organization, and of course for that 20 team of Christopher Bell, Larry, Jamie, and Shannon. I mean, we knew that they were going to be fast, but we just didn't know which one was going to be there in the end.
Well, I go back to the December test, and everybody told me, I know he had an engine issue before they got to this package, but everybody told me that Christopher Bell in that new Toyota Camry was absolutely lights out, and he overcame a lot. Remember, he had that bad pit stop, finished 3rd at Daytona, but 30 or worse finishes in the last 2 races since Daytona.
Yeah, we talked about it at the stage 2 break when they had the issue at the right rear. Like, is there going to be enough time for him to recover? They made the right decisions on when to pit, when to stay out, and he had a car just really good on the long run and was able to capitalize on it.
We talked earlier in the day about Brad Keselowski, who had over a 100 race winless streak. He didn't get the win, but it was 2 top 5s for RFK Racing, and Brad is standing by with Regan.
Well, solid run for Brad Keselowski all day long. It ends with a 4th place finish, Brad. I know that's exactly what this team needed right now.
Yeah, it was a good, solid day for us. You know, we want to win these races. We didn't have anywhere near the speed the 20 car did. I don't know if anybody did, to be quite honest. But, you know, we put ourselves in position with a good pit call, great restart at the end, and just tried to execute. So the potential's there. We just, we're one step away, and we're going to keep working on it until we get there.
Thanks, Brad.
Well, Ryan Blaney finishes in the top 5 once again at Phoenix, but it wasn't as simple as it looks. Take me through your day. You were up there early, kind of fell off for a bit, and ended up back in the top 5.
Yeah, just a really long, hard-fought day, to be honest with you. Like, you know, I thought we got better and better, like stage 1, and through stage 2 we got better, and I kind of slipped one of those restarts and lost about 5 spots, and I kind of those cautions we had to restart way back behind the guys that pitted the stop before so we could make it, and just worked our tails off to get back to 5th from where we were. I'm worn out. That's the most worn out I've been in a long time, but appreciate the 12 boys for sticking with it. Fighting all day. Appreciate Advanced Auto Parts. Ford Mustang was fast. Roush Yates, Menards, Wabash, Dent Wizard, everybody who makes this possible. Dex Imaging. Long day, but proud of the finish.
Man, worn out, huh? Worn out because he's on top of the point standings right now. But great day for Christopher Bell, burning it down out there in Phoenix. We're going to be right back to wrap things up.
Did you see that? Hear that? Feel that? Is this a shooting star? Rock star? Superstar? Let's all take a deep breath, because once we peel out, there's no looking back. You ready?
What a day it was for Joe Gibbs Racing. All 4 of their drivers finished in the top 11. All 4 drivers led laps, and for Ty Gibbs, he had not finished inside the top 20 at Phoenix in the Cup Series. He had a 3rd place finish today, standing by with Regan Smith.
In the hour-long Friday practice session here at Phoenix with the new short track package, we knew the Toyotas had speed. We knew they'd be fast, and Christopher Bell showed that not only can you be fast, you can pass them at will. He was the one car that could drive through traffic and through the field all day long.
Well, I will say, I'll add one to that list, Tyler Reddick. The 45 car could until it happened at the end, and he just didn't get the job done on that restart. The race flip-flop, boys. We saw a group of cars that led the charge all day long. Caution comes out. Half of the field pitted right prior to that. Caution come right back out in a very bad time for them. Race flip-flop, and the rest of his history.
The other car that could pass was Denny Hamlin. He made the mistake and spun out there and caused that caution and never really rebounded. But the thing that stuck out to me was the fact that the Toyotas were so good. We talked about it, and they finally were able to do what they needed to do on the racetrack and capitalize and get the win and get the stage wins and capitalize on those fast cars. So a lot of fast Toyotas today. Christopher Bell was the class of the field.
So now we have one race under our belt with the new short track package. Let's head for Bristol.
Thank you so much, Mike Joy, who looks a lot, Regan Smith looks a lot like Mike Joy right now. Listen, we talked about this was the first shorter track of the season so far. It's also a place where we're going to come back later. How many days?
245.
Crown a champion. So what did we learn today?
Well, again, we talked about it before the race, just the Toyotas, you know, how strong they were in qualifying, how strong they were in practice, and they backed it up in this race, leading all but 14 laps. And those 14 laps they didn't lead. Todd Gilliland led it through strategy, but who would ever believe when we watched watch what the Chevrolets have accomplished this year, only one finished inside the top 10, and it was not a Hendrick driver. Ross Chastain finished 6th.
Yeah, we know that Chevy and Toyota, or Ford and Toyota, got the new body this year. Does that apply more so to this package than the others? We'll find out next week at Bristol. But I'm with Larry. Only one Chevy in the top 10. That was pretty interesting after they'd won everything else.
The tracks keep getting smaller, and next week we'll be at the Half Mile Coliseum out in Bristol, Tennessee. That's right. Remember, you can catch Race Hub weeknights on FS1 at 6 Eastern. Bristol next week, Sunday race day starts at 2 Eastern on FS1. We'll continue on Fox at 3. Next, it is Next Level Chef. Congratulations to Christopher Bell. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us today. We'll see you next weekend.
Did you see that? Hear that? Feel that? Is this how you prove you earn the crown?
Winning is in his DNA.
How you shut up the haters?
I love it.
Handle the heat?
Who's going to make the move?
It's going to be a must-win.
Is this a shooting star? Rock star? Superstar? Okay. Let's all take a deep breath. Because once we peel out, there's no looking back. You ready?